Says hi, Wardog.
Nice.
We're live.
Awesome.
What a crazy collaboration we have here. We have my weekly meltdown with Allison. We have Survivor NSFW Jonny Fairplay. And could Allison, could you and I have asked for better guests than Kung Fu Vic and the Wardog?
I know. What a combination. This is just amazing. I love it.
This is by definition a motley crew.
It is definitely a motley crew.
We got some people from north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yes.
And some people from south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Right.
Yeah.
You might need subtitles for me, just so you know. It's okay to hit that if you need to.
Okay, we will be talking season 1 of Cobra Kai. Just to give everyone a quick intel about each of us. Allison, you do a weekly podcast called My Weekly Meltdown, in which you talk about reality television first and foremost.
That's really all we do right now. We cover Big Brother, Survivor, whatever, anything. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And then Kung Fu Vic, you and the Wardog played Survivor together on the last good season of Survivor prior to Winners at War. So
rough.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? If you look at the I think
I think Island of the Others had a good pre-merge, but I don't want to talk Survivor. But I think it was a good pre-merge.
So anyway, but a lot of people recognize you guys from Survivor season 38. So the Wardog, they would recognize your T-shirt. It is a Cobra Kai T-shirt. Now, is this a new purchase or an old school purchase?
No, it's a new shirt that's made to look old, but it's a new purchase.
It's vintage.
Okay, so the Wardog has been at Hot Topic, ladies and gentlemen.
Or Kohl's. Never know.
Yeah.
Or Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. And I am rocking a
very colorful Cobra Kai shirt.
Yeah.
No.
This is a card. What does it say?
Cobra.
It's Sergeant Slaughter in
the
Cobra Kai logo.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And this is about 15 years old.
That's real vintage, a real thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of brings us back before we even go deep into the show. To me, it's still mind blowing. I watched Cobra Kai 2 years ago when it came out on YouTube. I know Allison did as well. That they can take a show off of kind of like a cheesy, iconic 1984 film, and then actually create a series that has all. I think it's got all the good little pieces to comedy, drama, character building. I just think it's fascinating what the three main writers, showrunners did with the show. So I mean,
it's an amazing concept. It really is.
I mean, you're taking a movie that on rewatch is still watchable, but you get all that 80s cheese and it's just like wow, this was how every movie was made in the 80s, and to carry that entire premise 20 years later, take us
34
into real how long?
34
years later.
34 years later, take us into real time and seeing how so many of these people, just like in real, I mean, if you go if you go back to your hometown to visit and that high school quarterback is still talking about being the high school quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he's usually a cop now, but he's still talking about being that high school quarterback and just reliving those glory days. And we have our characters, our main characters, Jonny and Daniel, still it appears as though they've both, for the most part, gotten on with their lives, but they're still living back in those high school days as their quote unquote glory days. and you know, and for both of them, actually, it seems to be for all the right reasons. I mean, like, you know, yes, Johnny was kind of an asshole back in high school, but at the same time, like, badass. And, you know, like, it's, you know, he's remembering back to being a badass. So whereas Daniel, you know, is our hero back in, you know, the original Karate Kid movie, and, you know, and he's the underdog, you know, that came back to win. So, and so it's just, it's really cool because, like, I mean, you know, for I can say for like those of us that have done reality TV, it's just like, whoa, like, you know, like that, you know, like a lot of us call back to that, but, you know, it seems it's just like, yeah, but I wasn't 17, and then these guys are still 17, whereas, you know, my 17, I'm just like, oh, like it.
Yeah, I'm not wanting to go back to that at all. I'm good where I am right now.
Well, William Zabka, I remember reading like a TV Guide article online, like the biggest villain of the 80s, like top 10. And he was like number 2 or 3.
Sure.
Like, he had a string of like 3 or 4 movies in a row after Karate Kid where all he did was play the asshole high school guy or college guy. Like he had one, he was typecast. Yeah. And then he just had no career for 3 decades. So like, and
I think going back, the first episode, I said to Wardog, I'm someone who's never seen The Karate Kid, and I just watched this for fun a week ago, I guess. So there was no context on it. I said to Wardog on episode 1, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to like this. I was like, I feel like the acting is terrible. And Wardog said, he's like, well, give the guy a break. He hasn't acted in 3 decades. And I was like, okay.
True.
He gets better as I was rewatching it this week too. Like, you're right. It's kind of like Rocky Road at first.
Well, if you look him up on IMDb, he did some really bad B movies. He did a movie about a huge snake. And so, I mean, it's just some really, which is kind of iconic because you have Cobra Kai snake. But he did a movie where he was eaten by this huge snake. I mean,
Anaconda?
No, it wasn't Anaconda. I can't remember what it was called, but they made a sequel. It was so bad.
I think they made a sequel to Anaconda.
They did, but it's not that movie. Trust me.
Was it the one that came out right around the same time as Anaconda? Yeah.
It was like the equate version of Anaconda, you know, the knockoff brand.
So,
go ahead, Johnny.
I feel like I'm watching the story of Johnny Fairplay watching the career of Billy Zabka, because it was just like I did my first Survivor as the bad guy. I did like 70 shows out, and it was like, they're just like, we need a bad guy, we need a bad guy, we need a bad guy, and then there's this break, and I'm just like, oh wow. So I'm anxiously looking forward to my Cobra Kai moment. I don't want to wait 34 years though, but I'm ready for it.
Well, you won't be hopefully chugging Coors Banquet when it happens.
Ooh, I would like to think that was a sponsor.
Yeah, I am too.
So, or if it wasn't, they were just like, who do you think would be the easiest to get a sponsor if we don't have a sponsor going into this?
Oh.
So
it also kind of fits too. It's a very 80s beer.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine if they didn't have a sponsor going into what was it when it was first, was it YouTube Red? Was that
Red? Yeah, that's where it was on.
So without the viewership of YouTube Red, I think going into season 3 on Netflix, I think if Coors Banquet beer wasn't on board before, they're all in.
Oh,
there's people around the world right now drinking Coors Banquet beer because Johnny drinking Coors Banquet beer.
I expected someone in this group to be drinking it. Wardog, I thought for sure I would see a banquet come up just out of the, but I guess not.
I got a kombucha. Does that?
It should have been me because Fairplay doesn't drink anymore, so it should have been me. Or Vic. I mean, you're not off the hook either. But I'm actually very glad that
I've never even heard of this beer. You guys, I'm a '90s kid. None of this is good.
Have you heard of Coors Light?
Yes.
Okay, so like Bud Light is like the Coors Light version of Coors Banquet beer. So Coors Banquet beer is comparable to a Budweiser.
Okay, so bad.
I wouldn't drink it.
I mean, a lot more people drink Coors Light and Bud Light than Bud and Coors Banquet beer. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. But don't they call the champagne of beers Coors Banquet?
No, that's Miller Genuine Draft.
Oh, Miller Genuine Draft.
No, sorry, Miller High Life. Jesus.
Oh, Miller High Life.
Yeah, that's the champagne of beers. The champagne of beers.
Champagne of beers. All right, let's get this thing rolling.
Okay, so we're quickly
Jonny Fairplay, our valiant co-host, look like he's freezing again.
I think.
Whoops.
Well.
Sorry. All right, am I back now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry about that. I went to the other. So there appears to be 10 episodes in the first season. So I'm gonna give a 3-sentence synopsis of episode 1, and then we'll discuss along the way. We'll also be talking broad strokes about the entire season 1. For those of you worried, we are not doing spoilers for season 2, nor speculation for season 3. Look for those in upcoming podcasts. All right, hear me okay?
Yeah, I mean you're skipping a little bit, but now I don't know.
Okay, we good now?
Think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The first episode is called Ace Degenerate, and it originally aired on May 2nd, 2018 on YouTube Red. 30 years after the events of the 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament, Johnny Lawrence's life has taken a rocky turn as he tries to forget a past that constantly haunts him. He seeks redemption by reading the infamous Cobra Kai karate dojo. But the LaRusso-Lawrence rivalry of yesteryear is reignited when their wives become intertwined with the next generation of karate kids.
Mm-hmm.
There we have it.
Well, first off, I think that the opening was great to show the vintage footage for the movie, the last scene. And then they kind of did it like in a modern version where they show like each point was like 1-0 LaRusso. Like they did like this, like where you didn't really get that during the actual original film, right? Like really got you into like the intense of it, action of it. Then they obviously they show that iconic scene with Sensei Kreese when he tells him to sweep the leg. And I don't know if you guys know, they did that music video like 15 years ago. It was a band called Sweep the Leg.
I've seen that video.
In which Johnny and 3 of the other Cobra Kais were in it, as well as a cameo by Ralph Macchio. And so it was kind of an interesting thing that like that's an iconic scene. And same thing with Tommy saying, the body bag. So you're like, okay, I've seen this already.
You know what? I totally forgot that put him in a body bag was from Karate Kid. Like I remember hearing it back in the day, and and it's part of my vernacular. But whenever I go to a wrestling show and the bad guys are beating up the good guys, I always scream every match if heels have a decided advantage, put them in a body bag. Every single time, and totally forgot that was from Karate Kid. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's my go-to line. and the heels always pop. And the crazy thing is, for all these years, they're probably popping for Karate Kid, and not that I'm yelling, put them in a body bag.
That actually was a unscripted line, and it's actually not caught on camera in the original. Like it's not caught on camera. He just says it, and you can hear it. So you can audibly hear it, but it wasn't like in the script. He just like. The actor Rob Thomas and is his name Rob Thomas or something like that? He just kind of yelled it out loud.
I would like to think he's getting some of that Rob Thomas Matchbox 20 money.
Well, hopefully have that copyrighted.
He actually passed away a little less than a year ago.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, but yeah. And once again, we don't want to talk about season 2 either. But anyway, the real person passed away in real life.
That some of that camera angles of that fight that they used in the flashback were actual. I'm sorry, I'm a big movie nerd with this kind of stuff, but they were actual shots that they got from the original reels that were not used in the original movie from Johnny's point of view. Yeah, so that fight, some of that stuff was not in the original movie.
Should have been in the Criterion Collection director's cut.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys. Like, have you ever seen where they do this? You see those videos? They're typically on YouTube. Well, you typically see them on like Facebook or something. It's just like like on The Office, it's just like, you know, Jim is really the bad guy, Pam should be with Brian. They show all this stuff to show you that, you know, The Karate Kid was one of those movies that they've done those videos in the past. It's just like, you know, Johnny was really the good guy, Daniel was really the bad guy. And I'm wondering if one of those videos was triggered the inspiration for the series.
Well, I mean, if you look at it from Johnny Lawrence's point of view in episode 1, you know, you showed up, you stole my girl, and I got the warning, you got the win with an illegal kick to the face. So if you look at it from his point of view, John, you know, he is the villain and Johnny's the victim. So.
Yeah, I mean, the fan service has done that for a long time. Talking about earlier in the same tournament, the punch to the face was illegal. And all of a sudden, he gets a kick to the face. So the kick to the face is like this thing has been going on for a long time. So the fact that they do a lot of fan service, the fact they said a line like that was illegal, you know, like is that they're actually playing back to the fans, and the 3 showrunners are huge fans of the show, grew up with it. So that's pretty cool.
So
wait, so is he so mad that he lost because the move was illegal, or just that he didn't want to lose?
His life was in shambles. He lost his girlfriend to this kid that, you know, picked up karate in like 2 months. And you know, and it just turned his whole life upside down. And I think he just carries a lot of resentment towards this guy. And then his freaking car gets totaled and it gets taken to the LaRusso auto shop of all places. And he's like, look, I gotta get my car the F out of here. Okay, just whatever. And then that is when the two of them meet or see each other for the first time. And even in that moment with Daniel LaRusso and his cousin and that other guy, they are antagonizing Johnny in that moment. Oh, this is the guy whose ass you kicked, or, you know, or actually I kicked his face. You know, it's just, so they're just kind of fanning the flames. And in that moment, it's like, I can see why Johnny Lawrence is pissed off.
Well, I think Johnny Lawrence sees his life now and has seen his life for the past several years as that moment being the pivotal point of his life going like before Daniel LaRusso enters his life, he is, you know, he's one of the
top
cool
of the
kids.
world. Top of the world.
He's got the hot girl. You know,
he's living in Encino.
Yeah.
He's got money, living in Encino, is part of a country club. Everything's going well.
He's gonna win this tournament because, like, you know, it's a done deal. There's no Daniel LaRusso is not in this tournament. He wins this tournament. So I mean, like, you know, so this guy coming to his life, like that tournament loss was, he basically saw like that ruin the rest of his life.
It did, because you got to think about, he actually went up to LaRusso and handed him the trophy in the movie and said, "You're all right." And then you flash forward to Karate Kid Part 2, and Kreese chokes him in the parking lot and tells him he's a loser. So there were also a couple of other points that, you know, they don't bring up in season 1 that kind of still, that whole night was just a complete mess up.
That night changed his life. Yeah,
it just changed the whole trajectory of his life.
And you assume from without, also in the first episode, you hear about his mother dying. So you obviously feel like that probably changed his life as well. Yeah, because he obviously has no love with the stepdad, right? He seems like that relationship is non-existent. So, and it's just ironic because Daniel lives in a little shitty apartment in Reseda, and now Johnny lives in Reseda.
Is Daniel lives in the apartment complex?
No, it's not. It's not the same one. But they drive by it later in season 1.
Right,
it's not the same one. Yeah. But it's like a similar dump, and it's completely roles reversed.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the writers are telling us that Johnny was really a good guy and Daniel was really a bad guy, or are they not? And I'm talking broad strokes here, entire season 1, or are they just telling us they both have goods and pluses and minuses? Because like I was hoping that they would double down more on Daniel being an asshole and Jonny really being a good guy, but was changed because of that pivotal moment. But I feel like we're seeing that Jonny's still kind of a piece of shit at times.
Oh,
but
there's nothing
overall,
PC about Jonny Lawrence at all.
Overall, I think
know,
you're supposed to
but
like it.
think, like while watching it, I still want to root for Jonny, even though he doesn't have many redeeming qualities. Like I keep wanting him to win, and like every time Danny gets a step up, I just get like angry, even though he does seem like a genuinely nice guy who has no ill will towards Jonny, but like, and Johnny's an asshole who like yells at children, but I still want him to come out on top.
Horrible.
Yeah, I think, Jonny, they were in the first episode. I think they're doing two things. They have a broad stroke, like they have a long-term idea of where they want you to bring the characters to. But since you have a preconception of Daniel being such a hero and Jonny being such a villain, I think that the first episode especially, they do everything they can to paint Jonny in the best asshole light as you can.
Yeah.
And they build him up, and I think they take the first 4.5 episodes to really deteriorate what you remember from Daniel until Daniel has his turning moment. Then it's episode 5 we can get to. But like, and after that, then it becomes a big gray area that they're both flawed.
Yeah.
On so many levels. But I'm with Vic. Like, I mean, I have respect for Daniel, but like throughout at least season 1, I'm rooting for Jonny at every single turn. You know, like
I'm rooting for But do we like what's our consensus? Do we like Daniel? Like,
do we like Daniel LaRusso?
Yeah, I like. I've watched both seasons, and so, but I'm not talking like just isolating season 1. I think we're not supposed to hate Daniel, but I find myself wanting to hate Daniel.
He's a little cocky in some areas. Like I said, his first encounter with
he was a dick.
He was a dick.
He was a complete
dick in the face. I mean, oh my God, you know. I mean, that was just, you know, and tries to make out with it. Oh, it's on the house. I'll fix your car. Oh, whatever. But still.
But also the fact that he's like basically he's a used car salesman. Like everyone, like they just have a bad connotation in general. Like I just feel like giving him that job, unless that's a throwback to something from the original movie that I don't know about, but giving him that job makes you want to hate him even more.
Yeah. Well, like we do have the theme with the cars and the Karate Kid
there's a small theme with Miyagi and the cars, so it's a little bit makes sense that Miyagi loved the cars, and it's a little bit of homage. But it's also perfect because it's kind of a slimy type.
It's a slimy version.
It's not like fixing them up and doing vintage with them. Like he's like it's like the underhanded version, and it's kind of like taking back the whole way that when you first see his like pool room, like all the Christ stuff is kind of put away, like. He's lost his way since Miyagi died, and everything about it. So he understands what he's trying to do with the cars, but he's doing it like everything about him is lost. And I think like his wife sees it, but he doesn't see it at first.
His billboards are awesome though, with the kids and everything.
Like going back to the Karate Kid movies, he has those amazing vintage trucks and stuff that he's working on, and then fast forward, this guy, you know, like low mileage, pre-owned, certified. What's up?
Yeah.
That is not custom, vintage, old school, great. You know, like he's a cheap version of himself.
I agree with that. I think he is a cheap version of himself, and kind of with Jonny, you know, at this point, when his first encounter with Daniel, you got to think about before that, you know, how he got there, his car got totaled, and before that, he's down on his luck. He's eating a nasty piece of pizza in the strip mall. He sees his neighbor, who's really sweet, this sweet kid, Miguel, getting his ass kicked. But the only reason why he steps in to help him is because they throw him on his car.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, watch the car. And it's kind of like, I felt like that was a real, I don't know, I can't really articulate really, but when he stood up for Miguel, I thought that was a good moment. I thought it was funny when he did the kick for the first time and he, pulled his groin. And so, I mean, that whole scene was just like, it gave me chills because I was like, that's freaking awesome. This throws me back to my childhood watching these movies. And you're seeing him. This is the first time you are seeing him in a different light, even though he's really defending his car and not Miguel. He's still defending him in a way. And I really liked that.
Going back, I know Jonny had mentioned quickly the director's cut DVD. I had that maybe like 15 years ago when it came out. It didn't really add much, but it did add some cool interviews at the end and some back behind the scenes, and it kind of explaining how William Zabka and Ralph Macchio were in real life. Mm-hmm. And one of them is a referee in that final fight is actually the karate trainer. He's like some X degree black belt, right? And he's being interviewed, and he said he had 2 different training regimens. He would train Pat Morita, which is Miyagi, and Ralph Macchio in the afternoons, and they would joke around a lot, and it was all this and that and the other. And the 5 young Cobra Kai kids would have to be up at like 5 a.m. before they had to film that day. And he would treat them like he would treat his real students, and he would treat them like shit. And it created an animosity on set that Ralph Macchio got treated differently than those 5 kids, and also made those 5 kind of grow and bond together. And supposedly William Zabka, then later on, he did karate for another decade or so, like really got into it. Mm-hmm. So I think that like some of that on-screen tension they had during the movie is real. And some of that on-screen tension you can start seeing early in the season, like when they first start working together, it's still there.
Yeah. There's actually John Avildsen. I can't pronounce his last
name.
Avildsen? Yes.
The director?
Look this up on YouTube if you're really into the Karate Kid, the first film. He shot the film before he actually shot the film. It's kind of hard to explain. He took a regular camera and he took the actors and he shot the entire film with one little camera. It was one big rehearsal, and he put it together as the movie. So if you watch that versus the actual film, it's really interesting. I highly recommend looking that up. My God, yeah, I do have a life, believe it or not, but but it is the same length as the movie. But it's like you see Allie and Daniel at that amusement park really playing games, and you see how they learn to do. It's really interesting. I acted for 15 years before I started doing this, and the rehearsals and everything. And to see that was really fascinating to me because they worked through and you could see the changes that they made. So, but yeah, there was a lot of, you could tell even then when they were doing it that, no, these two, keep them apart. We don't want them together. Do not communicate with each other. You guys are enemies. That's it. Wow. But that, if you look it up on YouTube, it's kind of interesting. I can't remember what it's called. And that's another with Allison.
Just to bring us up to where I think we are conversation-wise, episode 2 is Strike First, which originally aired May 2nd. 2008. Daniel Russo. What's that?
You got frozen again. You want to start that? You want to start the little blurb again? You got frozen.
Yeah. Sorry. Present day Daniel LaRusso lives a charmed life. That is until he sees that the Cobra Kai dojo, the source of his teen angst and rivalry, has been reestablished by Johnny Lawrence. Struggling to launch the business, Johnny starts teaching karate to his teenage neighbor, Miguel. Daniel faces his former opponent, and old offenses are quickly reignited.
Well, this is one of my favorite episodes, and then I want to bring up my t-shirt, if you don't mind for a minute. It says quiet on it, Sensei Lawrence, because this is the episode where he yells, quiet! He starts yelling quiet because Miguel I have asthma. He's like, look, that does not exist in this dojo. This dojo. Take your peanut allergies, everything else in your asthma. That is not real. That's when he starts doing that, and I just love it. This whole episode, I just loved.
I think Johnny Lawrence is speaking for every 40-plus-year-old father. Yes. In the United States right now. I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter, and they're just like, So like this semester we're peanut free until October 4th, and we have a student that may potentially have a peanut allergy. I'm just like, go fuck yourself. There's no such thing as a peanut. Like this is like I mean, I went to school for 17 years. And I don't think there was one fucking day that I didn't see someone at lunch eating a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich at some point, some fucking where, and no one fucking died.
No
okay?
one.
So fuck your peanut allergy. I'm calling bullshit. I think they just don't like fucking peanut. That's fine if you don't like peanut butter. Don't eat it, motherfucker.
Those kids sat at a table by themselves.
I know. When I was growing up, we did not have that table. Like you either ate peanut butter or you fucking like. No one had a peanut butter allergy.
Oh, yeah. This is like a new thing. It's
everybody knew eat peanut butter and jelly going.
Oh yeah,
like, yes. Grade school.
Yeah.
I see, like, as I said, I think like if you were 50-50 on the Johnny Lawrence Butler, is just like, good guy, isn't he a good guy? When he says essentially fuck your peanut butter allergy, I'm just like, this is a fucking good guy. This guy is my guy. he's
what everyone is thinking.
He's preaching the gospel here, you know. Fuck your participation award. Fuck your peanut butter allergy. Like, you know,
he also calls he calls Miguel a pussy, and he's like, "Aren't you like genderfying it?" He's like,
"Yeah." He's like, quiet. Yeah.
It's so great. I mean, as I said, like being a 46-year-old dad. I mean, like I just Monday through Friday day, like I experience this every day. You know, it's just like, you know, hey, we played so and so. I'm like, how'd you do? Like, well, everyone does the same. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think I missed all that because my son will be 24 next month, and he doesn't like. I missed the whole peanut allergy. The kid went to school with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day. You know, a Capri Sun, a Twinkie, and chips. Okay, it wasn't the healthiest lunch, but he's still alive. Okay, and he contributes to society, and he's okay.
Yeah. I just think they did a good job at like dividing the generation, showing that so much time has passed from the original movie that these guys are just like, so I don't say out of touch because it is what it is for them, but like the generation, I guess my generation were it's all politically correct and like making sure everyone's okay. And like, you know, so I think they did a really good job of like making the generation so different.
There were times rewatching it where my husband and I are sitting here just laughing our asses off, like we should not be laughing at this, but it's so true and it's so freaking funny because we are older and it's just whatever, you know. But when he starts that whole business, you know, even when later on when all the kids are in the dojo and he's walking around looking at him and he looks at this one kid and goes, I feel like a virgin just looking at you. I mean, it just cracks me, and I'm like, what does that say about me? Oh.
You know, that final the final scene in which they're in this episode where they're when Daniel walks into the dojo, right, and like Miguel is like cleaning the toilet, so you don't see him at first. They said that's they did some filming a lot of episodes with Jonny. They had it filmed already, but the first scene Daniel filmed for the entire series was that scene. Oh. So that was and they hadn't been together. Like the producers went out to New York to convince Ralph Macchio to do the show. They already had Jonny. They already had worked with Jonny in Hot Tub Time Machine, so they had a relationship with him. And they had no relationship with Ralph Macchio, and they convinced him to do the show. And that was the first time he came on set and did a scene. And like supposedly, I guess they hadn't seen each other a long time either, Zapka and Macchio. And you could see that tension as they walk on the mat to each other, getting closer. And they feel even kind of awkward in the delivery of lines because I think they have their own. And they said the guys doing it in the background, like they said, everybody was just quiet on set as if they were watching like their childhood, like flash, you know, before their eyes.
It's an epic moment.
It's a great moment.
It is. Well, I mean, when they walk face to face, it's just amazing.
Well, you see the guy that was coddled on set on the original movie, the guy that was on the poster from the original movie, the guy that, you know, that the world said would be the next, you know, big thing, ended up not being. But at the time, you know, that's the story, you know, like real life Johnny Lawrence, Billy Zabka is watching, just like, fuck, why wasn't I the Karate Kid? I'm going to fucking karate practice at 5 a.m. This motherfucker's not. And then fast forward to 2000, I would imagine they filmed 2017, and imagine, being on set and Johnny's there, in the show. Ralph Macchio walks in and, he's just like, yeah, motherfucker, guess who the real star of this is? It ain't you. This ain't your story. This is my story. Like, I know you looked at the script and you probably counted the fucking lines and you have just as fucking many, but you ain't the fucking hero.
Guess what? And everyone's gonna hate you. They're gonna love me.
But I imagine that real life. I mean, I've done professional wrestling, since '98, and there's good guys and bad guys, and it's predetermined, it's choreographed, and we have scripts. But still in the locker room, there's those moments where there's that part. It's just like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm winning tonight. It's just like,
yeah,
fake as fuck, but it doesn't matter. And I'd imagine that real life, I think that Billy Zabka would have preferred to have been Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, because he was busy making Python 1 and 2. That's the name of that movie.
I think that did come out like right around the same time as Anaconda, and it was like Anaconda didn't look good, but like Python looked worse. And it was, but it was one of those. It's just like, we're gonna trick people to theater.
They used what was left over from Anaconda in Python.
Before we move on to episode 3, was episode 2 when we first got to meet Miguel's grandmother?
Yeah.
Is that when she thinks he's jerking off? Or is that episode 3?
I think it might be episode 3 because that's the Halloween episode.
Okay. Because I do want to talk. I think the grandmother's great.
Yeah. I love Yaya.
Okay, well let's go real quick. Episode 3, Esqueleto. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know. I think
I mean skeleton in Spanish.
There you go. All right. Johnny tries to recruit more students to the dojo. Troubled by his daughter chaperones her high school costume dance, Johnny takes Miguel's training seriously and starts creating a badass. Great descriptions of these episodes.
It is a great description. And this is where we meet Yaya, because they talk about the Halloween costume, and then Miguel whips out the Halloween costume in front of Johnny, and he's like, "You look like a poor person. We're gonna make you look great." And I just want to say, the moment that Miguel walks through the fog, and I mean that fog was just so over the top, it was perfect. And he is a skeleton. Chills the first time I saw it. It was like, oh my God, this is fucking fantastic. I love it. I love it.
And it's so obvious at this point, even if we don't know whether Johnny is a true, we know that Miguel is.
Yeah.
And Miguel is dressed as a skeleton. Of the evil Cobra, like major moments in the Karate Kid movie.
Major moment in the movie, but the 5 of them look like badasses in their outfits.
Oh yeah. I mean they're the NWO.
Yeah, they look so badass in the original, and funny thing about it is that I didn't realize it when I was a kid what he was doing. I thought he was just smoking like a cigarette, but in the original movie he's smoking weed. So there's a scene, Vic, in there, and he's in the bathtub and he's smoking weed. Johnny's like rolling up a blunt. His boy's like, "Hurry up!" in the stall, and then Daniel sees it. And he puts like this water hose and he essentially soaks Johnny up, and then like that makes him
and the weed.
And the weed.
Yeah,
and the weed. I mean, that's why his boys were mad. They won't go because there's fucking young buck showing up and pouring.
No wonder he got his ass kicked. I mean, look, once again, he's the antagonist. Look what he could have left it alone.
He could have left it alone.
Hey, I mean, if you had a problem with Johnny, go after Johnny, but don't fuck up everybody's weed.
Everybody's high was gone.
Yeah. How much did that cost in 1984? Think about it for a minute. That was
high school kids.
Yeah.
And then he got their ass kicked by an old man. They had a rough night.
Yeah,
Right. Those were
worst night ever. Jesus. I got a cool Halloween. I got a cool skeleton costume for Halloween. All the chicks are gonna dig
Cool
me.
as fuck. Everybody loves it. Me and my boys were all dressed
Me and
together.
my boys, I'm like, didn't have the one guy that didn't. It's just like, oh, I thought we were Harry Potter. It's like, man,
shower
where the fuck is that skeleton?
Oh my God.
That takes a lot of work. I can tell you, being a high school boy at one time, it takes a lot of work for your friends to commit and go. And it's just like, what? I mean, we went to Spirit Halloween together, and it's just like, yeah, but I got this other costume from HalloweenCostumes.com.
Well, actually, let's. I want to talk about the other boys in this. Kyler and his other buddies. All right.
Yes.
Oh,
Who's the cleft lip kid? What's his name? Do we know his name?
Hawk, but I can't remember his
What's Hawk's real name?
I know Dimitri's the other kid.
Him.
It's Eli.
Eli, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was talking about Kyler and his buddy. His buddy's fucking funny. The fat guy. When he's like, he comes out, he's like skinny dips and bong grips, right in front of the.
Oh my God. That kid looks like he's 40 years old also when they showed him. I was like, that's nice.
I'm guessing he's related to the big kid on Stranger Things.
It might be. I don't know.
They look eerily similar. I'm thinking it's like an older brother that got the gig because of that.
No, but this kid Kyler might be the real villain so far in the show. Early on,
yeah.
I mean, the guy is just like an asshole.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's like the worst. He's like the worst kind of person. He's like, yeah, he's terrible.
Kyler, anyway.
I was about to say, first of all, you're an asshole. His name's Kyler.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's awesome.
Yeah, how about when Daniel asks him where your parents are from, and he goes, Irvine?
Yeah.
That was so awkward because everybody.
And they offered him sushi, and he's like, I don't eat sushi.
What is that? But that's also what leads Daniel to Jonny, because he's like, oh, you're kicking kids' asses. And he's like, no, I didn't kick any kids' asses. I kicked 4 assholes' asses who were beating up on one kid, so.
And he starts, and that's when Daniel decides to want to be the chaperone. He starts being a little wary of this kid now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a creeper.
I was deeply offended. I'm a huge sushi fan, and seeing what Daniel was cutting up, I was just like, man,
I want to eat that right there. It looked really good, didn't it?
I was just like, I would come to your house, Daniel LaRusso. So I mean, as much fun as Coors banquet beers with Jonny sounds and strip mall pizza, I'm down for Daniel LaRusso's fresh sushi all day long and water.
All day.
Yes. It looks so scrumptious.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like fucking Kyler.
So we also
meet a pirate. What?
Yeah, we also meet. Hold on a second there. That's annoying. So we also meet Dimitri and Eli that episode, right? As we were saying, Eli has the ugliest sweater I've ever seen in that episode.
Yeah. Exactly, and which the girls. And
it's horrific. No, they point out wow, that is a horrific looking sweater, and his haircut's horrific too.
Yeah. He looked like my brother in the early '90s. I mean,
great. There you go. I hope. If your brother's watching, I appreciate that.
Oh, he doesn't care.
All right, so let's go to the next episode.
It ends real quick. At the end of the episode, he gets his ass kicked. At first, you think because he was training kind of good, you thought is he going to actually beat somebody's ass? Yeah. And Miguel's not ready yet. Not 4-1. He's not ready.
No, and his friends leave him. Hawk or whatever. They just bolt.
They bolt.
And he's just
he gets his ass. He gets his ass kicked bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but go. Yeah.
So, which is a hero moment. I mean, the best heroes, you put up some obstacles in their way and getting your ass kicked.
That's kind of like his turning point in a way, Yeah. Now he has something to prove, and he hears, about how shitty Kyler's being to the girl he's interested in, and that's kind of like his big moment right there.
Yeah. So there we go. So our journey really begins right there. So
and we also, in the third episode, we also meet the only character, and maybe he's probably a great young kid in real life, but the only character through season 1 that I cannot really stand, like totally not stand at all, is Robbie Keane, but we can get into him later.
Oh yeah.
But I just can't. I don't know why. I just don't like his character.
Which one is he?
Johnny's son.
He's Johnny's son, and he needs.
The fucking model.
I can't get anything behind him. In this first episode, he's like stealing the laptop. Like, there's nothing about him that I can get behind.
I hate this kid. Like, I think it's poor casting. I mean, like, no.
I looked him up after because I was like, what? Like, this kid is so like pretty. It was very strange. I looked at his Instagram. Like, I need to know what he dresses like in real life, and he's just like super preppy, like model type. And like on his Instagram, he was like, "Do I look grunge yet?" And I was like, "No, you don't.
No,
like you don't."
I mean, because like the kid is practically homeless. He's a grifter. I mean, like, that's not what like my daughter, 12 years old. She watched season 1 with me, and she was just like, he looks way too pretty to be him.
Yeah, he's too polished.
1000% correct. I mean, like you, like the muscles he has, like those muscles. You know, this is, you know, further into but, you know, painting broad strokes. Those muscles aren't the muscles you get from like living shady and you know, actually like having to pull a construction job, you know, like a few days a week, you know, part-time or whatever. Like, those muscles are, I go to the gym, I shave my chest, or I whack, like, I'm like, the whole thing, I'm just like, that character is not that guy.
No, and his bob is too perfect.
I hate his hair.
It annoys
his hair. His hair's the worst. There's no way that character takes a shower that often.
Yeah, wait, he was literally eating like a little bit less of cereal that he runs out. He has no money for cereal, but his haircuts are fresh. And it's an annoying haircut. Everything about the character is annoying.
Yeah. So, but he's eating cereal with water.
But look at him. Look what it does. Maybe we should try it.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, like, I just think just poor casting, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't look anything, and like I'm not Johnny. Saying every son should look like his father, but he doesn't even look anything like the actress they cast as his mom. He doesn't look like anybody. He just doesn't. He's not even like, he's so much shorter than Johnny is too. I mean, it's just kind of like,
I hate him. He reminds me of like a Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yes,
and I feel like he was cast as a cult 80s, you know, vibe.
Every facial expression he made, my husband was laughing. Like every time
he got like veneers. Does he have veneers?
Something's wrong with his teeth, right? Something's up with his mouth. Like, it's like, I don't know.
I don't want to be mean about. I don't want to be mean about him personally. But
please tell me he's 17 with veneers.
The kids these days, they're peanut allergies and veneers. I don't know.
My worst enemy in middle school got veneers at age 14, so it's possible.
There you go. I hate him. I mean, like, is there anything? I mean, is there anything good about this guy in season 1?
Well, they're trying to do character development with him, right? Like, he gets close to the father. Yeah, and but he feels like he can't steal from him anymore, but obviously all of his motives are messed up.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't he take you out of every scene, just him being in it, though?
His season 1 scenes with Daniel on rewatch, and I've watched it. I think I've watched season 1 like 3 times. Were the ones like the third time watching it through, I was like, the only part was like, damn, I want to get this scene over with. Like him and Daniel's scenes, and I love Daniel with his daughter.
Yeah.
I love Daniel and his wife have great, because she like gives it to him.
Oh, she's a trout.
Daniel with Johnny are amazing scenes. It's like Daniel, anybody is fine. Daniel with building this relationship with Robbie Keane is the worst. But whatever. We can. So go ahead. You want to do your episode 4?
Yeah. Right? I mean, hold on real quick. Do we think he's a shitty actor in addition to bad casting?
No, I don't know if it's a shitty actor yet.
I think most of them are
right
shitty
part for
actors.
him.
I still hold that statement. I'm sorry. I'm looking for my phone charger. That's all the movement.
We don't
But
want
I think they're all shitty actors, honestly.
I can live with that.
Are they all shitty actors? Well, I mean, obviously, I'm much more lenient on children, right? On teenage actors, right? Because they haven't really done their
I'm
craft
the
yet.
opposite. Definitely the opposite.
Be better.
I think there's a few good actors amongst the teenagers. Like I think Dimitri is a really good actor, and I mean, obviously, we don't talk about season 2, but he really develops his role more in season 2. And I buy his character. Like I buy what he's selling.
Yeah.
Like
I buy
Aisha,
that.
I like Aisha, the girl. I thought she was good.
I think she plays the role. Samantha's solid. Miguel hasn't really owned his facial like things yet. He does better in season 2, but he has a little bit of this like over the top face things he does.
He's tough. He's tough. But I think
I love him as a character. I love him as a character. Like,
I love him as a character. I think
like my favorite character.
I think acting wise, what works for him more than anything else is scenes with Robbie, because by comparison, he's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really helps. It's just like you're sitting there like, ugh, and then you're like, well, it's better than that.
Yeah. So.
Well, to me, Robbie's just one dimensional. He has the same reaction for everything. It's for everything. I mean, it's so stone faced. Everything is just stone faced. That's it.
He holds his smile. He gets in the smile. He just holds it. Like seconds on end. Like I don't like. I don't know if it's some of his teeth, but like he holds the smile. Like look, I'm smiling now. Like stop. Just move on to your next line.
He's a model. Yeah. He's a model, not an actor.
True. I buy that.
I think that's the issue. I think he's in there modeling, and it's just like, yeah, we're fucking acting.
He just duck face. This isn't Zoo. What is it? Zoolander. This isn't a Zoolander movie. This is Cobra Kai. Stop it.
All right.
So,
okay.
Episode 4. What do you got?
4 is when Daniel's car dealership billboard is sprayed with lewd graffiti.
A dick.
It consumes Daniel and escalates tensions against a rival. Robbie, Jonny's delinquent son and horrible actor, is embarrassed about his father and his new dojo. The bullying escalates against Miguel and motivates Jonny in a surprising way.
Well, I want to talk about real quick Cousin Louie. Okay, Cousin Louie on the billboard scene when he's like, Dan's like, show me the billboard to the other boy, Kanucha or whatever his name is, and he shows it to me. Essentially, they painted like every part of the billboard without his face and the penis, like everything else is painted. And like Louie's like, you don't know how to do a painting, you got to start at the edges.
You have one job to do.
One job.
And then the other guy says some shit. He's like, oh, I just have the dog shit. And then Louie's like, dog, how did a dog get up there?
They're not the brightest. And then they find the Cobra Kai. Oh, but look at this Cobra Kai. Could have been this guy that took a shit up here and spray painted a dick. I don't know. We put 2 and 2 together and get a half.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a great scene.
It's a great scene.
Yeah. How did the get it?
The wife said, remember the wife said, nobody's going to see that. He goes, we particularly picked that corner because it's got high visibility. I don't know why I didn't find it so funny. He's like, no, he's so upset. He's like, we particularly picked that corner because of its high visibility traffic.
They're very good. Like the writing is, I mean, it's really horrible and really good at the same time, because like moments like that where it's like, they're giving you that extra line that in normal dialogue probably isn't there, but they're just like, we're letting you know why we did what we did, and you as a viewer, you're just like, yeah, I'm for it. It's okay. like that force line, like throughout the entire series, works because there's they do it repeatedly. They give you these lines. You're just like, well, now we have all the facts on that. Whereas you'll dialogue, the extra facts aren't there. But as I said, very, very much appreciated by the viewer. So, and it's the difference between, like, I don't think those words are said that concisely on a 1 hour show versus a 30-minute show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they have to get the point across. Each episode is shorter.
Yeah. So I think we're getting that concise, descriptive dialogue purposely because they're just like, we got 30 minutes, folks. We're just like, we're on the clock. You guys are here. We understand you don't have an hour. This isn't Netflix. This is fucking YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Let's give you the cliff notes. Here we go.
Yeah. I think this was the first time also that I ever remember hearing Daniel LaRusso curse. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but he sees that and he's like, holy shit. Like, he really cusses for like the first time that I can remember. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, that's how we know you're a villain.
Yeah.
And this is a scene where he goes to the coal dealership, right? And he kicks the
cappuccino, whatever the hell it was.
Whatever stupid drink that he kept trying to pawn off to him.
The bubble tea.
The bubble tea.
Yes.
What it was? I don't know what that is.
Piper.
And that's kind of cool too, because you kind of saw him, like, they put the music and like all of a sudden he does like a roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this stiff still has, and he's starting to maybe like turn a little bit, right? But he's still I think he's about to go into his darkest episode, the following one, where he's like really like consumed.
My 12-year-old daughter Piper is a huge fan of the boba tea. Requests me to buy it on a regular basis. Drinks about a fifth of it, maybe.
I don't even know what it is.
It's like this I want to say it like a dairy based, like a milk tea.
It's dairy. It's like a dairy
made with condensed milk, so it's extra sweet, and it has tapioca pearls in it.
Yeah,
I'll just stick to my Southern sweet tea.
It's got the bubbles in it. It looks cool because it has the bubbles.
Like a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's really not that good.
Okay.
All right. Next episode. Here we go. This is the one.
This is episode 5.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite episode. This is my favorite episode.
This is the episode Wardog's been waiting for. If he leaves after this episode, I'm protesting. All right.
I have to say I got a little during this episode too. So.
Oh, here we go. All right. Episode 5, Counterbalance. Daniel tries to strike a shady deal to undermine Johnny's dojo and struggles to find the balance in his life again by visiting an old friend. Meanwhile, Johnny expands his enrollment ranks in the dojo. Miguel puts his karate practice into reality as Samantha faces rejection and.
All right. I mean, this episode I think has so much in like really packed in a short time. Like, one, now you're following up on the fact that he knows that Johnny Lawrence painted the penis on his fucking face, right? and he's out there, and you don't realize what he's doing at first, but you start to realize that he's actually trying to like essentially just have this guy's rent raised. Like, at first you think, like, does he really want to buy that strip mall? He does not want to buy the strip mall. He's like literally conning the Armenian guy, because I mean, that's a really.
I thought he was going to buy it to kick him out.
No, I think he's the whole time,
and it's much more evil.
He's much more evil. He just wants to raise I don't know.
That's more evil than just buying it and kicking him out.
Daniel's being a dick.
He was being a dick.
Seriously, a serious dick.
Because like it's mysterious in the shadows doing it. I mean, like that's some fucking just devious shit. Like that's not that's just like, this girl used to be my best friend and I'm gonna destroy her life. Yeah, and it's just like, whoa.
And then his wife called his ass out on it. She called his ass out right away. Like, she's like, because
he fucked over other people too, right? Like, it wasn't just him. It wasn't just Johnny that he's fucking
over. Yeah, that the guy that owns a mini mart the guy that owns the pawn shop.
Not cool.
Yeah. I mean, if Daniel's got the money, buy the fucking strip mall and kick out Johnny. But
he got one person.
Yeah, you're so fucking evil that you're fucking ruining other motherfuckers' lives just to fucking score the vendetta on this fucking high school.
Would not approve of this, Daniel.
No, not in any way.
Mm-mm.
And then the same episode, while we're watching Daniel go back and forth and being like a complete, like psychopath.
Yeah.
We see what's her name? Alicia. What's her name? The
Samantha.
The girl. No, the other girl. The black girl that. Aisha. She joins Cobra Kai that episode.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
That's a great scene.
That is an amazing scene because he's like, we don't take girls. It's like she's like, why? Because it's like the army. It doesn't make sense.
Well, no, they don't. What is it? They don't accept girls in the military or women.
Yeah.
It just shows how
he's so out of whack. He's so out of whack.
He's so I like that scene right there. Like as a compliment to the first episode, he's so out of touch. But it's just like that. Right? It's just like. You gotta love him, right? If you don't love him,
CobraKai.com. I mean, it's just
it's just like he's my dad. I'm 46 and he's my dad. They don't have women in the military. Like what? But escort.
And she literally doesn't like her character's playing. You're right. She's a pretty good actress because her character's not understanding. What do you mean? Like she's like, why not? Because she's raised in a generation where those gender lines are not there, right? So it's like, what do you mean? Like, why can't I do karate? Like, military, what are you talking about? Like, and she like sticks up for herself there, like, and she, she's having that moment. So like, and she's had a rough first few episodes, right? They were making fun of her,
and she's rich. It's not like this is a poor girl that hasn't had opportunity.
She got to pay bills.
Yeah,
this is a rich girl.
And Miguel says, "Hey, her dad is." Such and such
with the Chargers, right?
Chargers,
yeah.
And then we get the scene in the cafeteria, which is a great scene.
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah.
It's Spider-Man. I really felt like I was watching Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in the cafeteria.
I believe it was more like a Tom Holland, though. I'm going to argue with you on this one. I felt like it was more of a Tom Holland Spider-Man, not a Tobey Maguire.
Spider-Man, young Spider-Man in the high school cafeteria vibe.
Yes, it did. It did have young.
It did.
The Tom Holland version. You're right.
Yeah, because Tobey Maguire was like 30 when he did the first one, so
I understand.
I mean, I like how he uses the tray to block kicks, smack people. Like he rolls around tables. Aisha like trips one person.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a great, and you're seeing Miguel, even though he was confident in Halloween, he got his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not even confident. He's like beyond that. He's like, I know I'm gonna kick all these guys' asses.
Yeah.
Like he went into that like, all right, I'm just gonna beat all these guys' asses, and he had no doubt. And at the end, he kind of sat back like, wow, I actually just did that. Like the adrenaline, rushed off him.
So Spider-Man though. I mean, it
was a little bit.
Like, goosebumps watching. I'm just like, I'm watching Spider-Man the YouTube series.
You want to hear something funny though that we're even talking about Spider-Man? My husband even said after that scene was over, he goes, "Is that the kid that's the new Spider-Man?" Like he even said that, and I was like, "No, it's not." But yeah, it does have that vibe to it. It really did.
He has a Miles Morales vibe to him.
Yes.
So
and then so like to me that scene would have made it a great episode as is.
Yes.
But then we circle back to Daniel. And we circle back now. Now you find out his full plan, what it was, that he got everybody's rent raised, right? Fucking dick move. And then his wife calls him out on it. And personally, I don't really get emotional, but I actually I got emotional when I saw this the first time, 2 years ago, when he goes to the cemetery and he's talking to Mr. Miyagi. And it was just touching because in real life, Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita had like a relationship that lasted for decades. They would hang out a lot. Like they had a real, not only did they do 3 movies together, but they had like a real bond up until Pat Morita died. And And then he gets back in the car. I'm even getting a little emotional now, but he gets back in the car and they play Pat Morita's voice.
Yeah.
Like telling him, and it's like, Mr. Miyagi, if you want to be in that world. And it was kind of like, then he goes back to the dojo, or his little dojo, like his little like pool house, and he's like emptying everything out, he's cleaning everything out, and he's taking those banners from Karate Kid 2 that he got from Okinawa, and he's like unrolling them and putting everything together, and he's putting on his bandana at the end, and it's like, damn. And like we're at the midway point of the season, and we're like, finally, because this asshole for the first 5 episodes, I can't stand him.
Oh, yeah.
But now he's putting the bandana back on, and like
that's a real bandana too. Did you know that? They let him keep that. That's the real one.
Yeah, he kept the bandana, and later on we'll talk. He kept the car, the yellow car.
The yellow car, yeah.
Oh, he owns the car, and that's a real bandana. That's why the bandana is kind of yellowish. It's not like as bright, but he puts a bandana on, and I just think it's badass. Like he needed like a reality check, and his wife gave him a kick in the ass, and he went to the grave. And honestly, the fact that they're really good friends, they were really good friends his whole life. That scene probably can't be easy for Ralph Macchio to pull off either.
No,
like, even though I know it's a fake grave. His name is Pat, but whatever. But he's out there having it, and then having to know that, oh yeah, now here's a part you're gonna sit in the car, and we're gonna play audio of Miyagi saying this. And you're supposed to like almost like understand, like like appreciate the audio. So like
it was a Star Wars moment. I mean, like as a callback to 80s movies of that same time span with the initial Star Wars trilogy. You have Yoda or a Ben Kenobi talking to Luke Skywalker after he dies.
Yeah.
And so I think it was kind of a nod to that. Why did they choose a different death date than the actual death date for Pat Morita?
Yeah, because I don't realize they chose in real life he died in 2013, and then in the movie it chose 2005, right?
Yeah. No, he died in 2005. They made the death 2011.
Okay.
I don't know. So maybe is it to tie into the fact that they wanted to maybe create the idea that Sam, up until like 10 years old, knew Mr. Miyagi?
Yeah.
Like later on, like kind of like because like she was doing karate as a little kid, so like maybe in her mind, like he was like a grandpa figure.
Yeah.
So otherwise, if 2005, she'd be like 2 years old. She wouldn't have known him. But like kind of like if she mentions Mr. Miyagi, it's like she can kind of say like I remember him. I don't know.
Okay. So we can get that in future season callbacks.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, her karate looks like it's going to become something at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There's more in further episodes. Also, I've never seen season 2, so you guys are like snickering. You guys know.
But you already saw like in the movie theater right away. She gave that one guy like Tyler. She gave him like a quick like hand jab, and it was like
worst hand job ever.
Yeah.
I've had so many dates that end with the hand jab versus the hand job. It's
so close. It's one vowel that's different. It's like one vowel changes the entire dynamic. But anyway, I feel like I talked too much that episode. Does anybody else have any takeaways from that?
I think this was because it's episode 5. It's right in the middle, and I think that Miguel's arc crossed over. Mm-hmm. I think Daniel's arc crossed over, and I don't know really where Johnny's episode 6.
Yes, when he gets the new students, it starts crossing over.
So we enter in. I mean, if we want to go ahead and start talking about episode 6, if Jonny wants to do his intro.
Yes, Jonny.
Here we go. Episode 6, Quiver. Johnny's dojo class attracts a new group of misfits, while his son Robbie, who harbors ulterior motives, lands a new job. Samantha makes a new friend in science class, and Daniel inspires interest in karate from an unlikely person.
Do we even have to talk about Robbie at all?
Can we forget that Robbie ever worked at LaRusso Motors? And the interaction with those two the two doofuses. The only thing I like about that one guy is he had a shitty mustache, and Jonny made fun of the mustache, and the next he's gone.
I love when they were stealing the laptop, but like his cover was like he wasn't actually the person with that name tag, but it was just his friend. As if like that was a good cover. Now your friend is just in trouble and lost his job because he stole the laptop and you're doing it together. Like, what was the point?
And also, you're in the store. There's other employees there. Everybody knows you don't work there, but you're behind the counter.
No one's going. No one's saying who's the model with the
hair.
Extra good haircut and shitty acting ability.
He's got a lob. Who is this guy?
What else happened in that episode? Oh, the new kids. That's a scene in which Johnny's going through the whole like ranks and file and just shitting on people.
Oh my God, he's just shitting on everybody.
And that's when he shits on Eli, and Eli leaves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But they also, this episode I think is important because it also starts out with how Jonny came across the Cobra Kai dojo. And after Jonny meets all of these kids and it's just freaking insulting the hell out of them. And, and Miguel confronts him and says, you can't talk to these kids this way. You don't know what it's like to be, but you don't have no idea. And then that's when his flashbacks come into play where he really didn't have a lot of friends. He didn't really have anybody. He had a stepfather who shit on him when he asked, hey, I want to take a karate class. Oh, well, I guess it's just the same as everything else. I guess I'll just write a check and toss it in the trash. So the Cobra Kai really gave him his confidence, and that's where he found his friends. So,
Yeah, as much as we're supposed to learn from this, Johnny's origin story that we're supposed to feel bad for him, I've often been just personally a huge believer in, yes, it's tough to be a nerd, but being a nerd and being rich is not half as bad as being a nerd and being poor.
Right here.
Like it's just like, yeah, I felt bad for you that you were a nerd, John, but you had plenty of fucking money, so shit won't but when you got home, shit was pretty fucking cool. Versus, if you're a fucking nerd and you're poor, you go to school, it sucks, and you go home and it sucks too.
Yeah. Well, also it's 1979 and he has like a Walkman. How many kids had a Walkman like that in 1979? Was that even a huge thing?
I don't think the Walkman came. I think the Walkman came out I thought it came out in the 80s, didn't it?
Yeah, like that's why I was surprised. Like, look, he's got a Walkman and it's 1979.
I don't think yes, his life's. I think Johnny's life may have sucked semi in school because he was kind of a nerd, but like once he got home, it only sucked for like an hour, or maybe even 30 minutes.
It probably just sucked every dinner. Every dinner was terrible.
The extent of dinner, 35 minutes tops, and then then that motherfucker's like, Sega Genesis, what's up?
Yeah, but Jonny, remember, he's a nerd that still scored with the babes, according to him.
No, I think not until he meets, as he says, he talks about Dutch a lot. And so I know you didn't watch the original Karate Kid, but there's 5 of them, right? Mm-hmm. And there's one, like, essentially they all had kind of roles. And there was a guy called Bobby who was like the second best Karate Kid. He was supposedly in the junior year, he lost in the finals. He's the one that Danny beats in the semifinals in the movie. He's also the one with the biggest like conscience. So Bobby was always the one kind of like would keep him grounded. Like and then there was like Tommy was this loud mouth, like crazy, put in like whatever. There's a guy Jimmy who actually I don't think ever spoke in the original movies. And then there's this guy Dutch. And Dutch Chad McQueen. So Chad McQueen is the son of what's his name?
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, which is a famous actor from the 60s, right? Yeah. Badass actor. So Chad McQueen is his son. Chad McQueen in the movie got this like bleached blonde hair, and he is the ultimate asshole, like more than Jonny in the movie. Like everything he does he has no redeeming qualities, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like Johnny's best friend in the movie. And ever since the movie ended in real life, the other 4 have done the music video together. without getting into any future things, the other ones might appear in Cobra Kai. Chad McQueen doesn't want to do anything to do with acting, nothing. He just kind of like, it's almost like he's playing his real Dutch life character. So in the show, they kind of write him off. They talks about him a lot, and he's kind of talking about like, oh yeah, when me and Dutch used to go to the movie theater, and then and that's when he first met Allie, and we would throw popcorn, this, that, and the other. So he kind of, you start realizing when you see him as in 1979 as like a 7th grader that he had no confidence, but meeting his friends at Cobra Kai and maybe meeting people like Dutch, they built confidence together as a collective, and that's probably why they did everything together, all his motorcycles together. Matching jackets of all different colors, like everything was done together.
All Halloween costumes together.
All Halloween costumes together.
Good friends too.
Because they probably all had problems independently, but together as like a wolf pack.
Yeah,
like how wolfly they got strength, and I think that's so he got his confidence that way. And after that he became like that. But if he grew up like Miguel without Cobra Kai, he'd probably be like Miguel. I don't go to parties. Because that kid you meet in 1979 doesn't look like he's going to any parties.
He's a big shocker.
Like a little bitch with a Walkman, you know what I'm saying? That just gets yelled at by his stepfather. But
for 35 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Okay. His life's not that bad. His life is not that bad.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think they really tried to paint this picture of this guy. It's just like, oh, Johnny's life sucked too. And then I'm just like watching him, just like, I don't think it's that bad. I didn't like they chose a scene to show because it was a memory that Johnny was thinking back to. I didn't see his dad beat the shit out of him at the dinner table, and my stepdad beat the shit out of me at the dinner table. So I'm like, you're doing all right, dude.
Yeah, but you're fine.
Also, they also show the guy didn't accept him, or the guy didn't respect him, the stepdad, and I think that's probably why he was such a good student for Kreese, because he needed a father figure, and he soaked it all up, and that's why he probably became his star pupil.
Yeah, but I mean, like 2020 emotional abuse versus 1984 physical abuse. I mean, like 1984, your parents fucking beat you. Mine did. And
I took a belt to the butt or in a paddle. My mom had, those paddles that had the paddle ball. My mom would take that thing off and whoop my ass, bare ass. Belts, extension cords, fucking frying pans. Switch. Yeah. You haven't lived to have been beat with a switch. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, switches suck. So whereas they're showing this, they're showing a callback to this, like, if this really happened in 1984 and his life is really that bad, that motherfucker is getting a fucking, a belt. So you're hoping it's the brown end and not the silver end.
That's right.
I just want to say that my phone's on 2%, even though it's charging, it's dying. So if I go black, it's because I died.
Okay.
Well,
sorry.
We hope
no one beat you with a belt or anything.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It's still dying, even though it's plugged in.
All right.
Just so you know.
All right, so we're on episode 7, right?
Yes. Let's see. Episode 7 is All Valley. Daniel takes on teaching his new pupil using unconventional techniques from Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Robbie is tempted to return to his delinquent ways, and Johnny helps Miguel with his first date.
Okay. The date scene is amazing. Golf and stuff. The fact they recreated golf and stuff, the same song from the original movie, the same theme park, and then the dialogue, that was one of the best scenes. I thought them acting was their dialogue when they were playing the basketball, right?
It seemed natural for the first time.
Yes. Yeah. That's my, like, when you ask like what kind of tickets you get, because like I only like floor seats, like and their banner, it felt like actually two high schoolers flirting, like naturally having natural conversation, and I just think they nailed it. They recreated. They wanted to create like this a nostalgic scene from the original movie, but they actually just recreated a new scene also with like, wow, these two have chemistry on set together. Sam and Miguel, like their characters have chemistry. And the
I think it's the best. I think it's the best acting in the show. Like just believability wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it was just natural. There's just something really natural about that versus a lot of the other scenes. As I said, I think they tried too hard to to give you all these extra descriptors to tell you the story in 30 minutes, and you do have shitty actors from the 80s, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but we're not watching Jack Nicholson and
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I'm not expecting Oscar caliber performances when I'm watching Cobra Kai the series. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. But they're amazing in their own right.
No, but they're amazing. They own it. But that scene was great, and actually that built up the natural chemistry between the two young actors. Kind of builds it up for the rest of the season. When they start having a falling out, that you start realizing, well, there's something there, and they're both trying to hold on to it, or they're both getting jealous about this or that and the other, but it doesn't feel forced. Like I remember what Sam and Miguel are when they're happy together. That's something to fight for, But obviously these characters, especially Miguel, is going through his own dark metamorphosis in a sense. So
I just want to say this kid Zolo I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. Who plays Miguel?
Yeah.
He does such.
I think it's Mandalorian.
We'll just call him Zolo Mandalorian. He does such a good job of going from innocent to evil. I mean, the way he does it with just the turn of his head or his face or his mouth, even with fucking braces. I mean, this kid I just think he did a really good job changing over. With the direction he did. Perfect. I think he did a great job.
Season 1 is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Johnny's right there too. But like his whole character, because you're right, he goes from essentially like that nerd, weak, wimp to a hero, to a ladies' man, to a villain. Like it's like episode by episode, he's constantly changing. And he does it, and he like nails it.
I think we see the evolution of him as an actor as well throughout the series. I think he's getting more comfortable with
more comfortable for sure.
Yeah, with not only the acting but also the chemistry with his co-actors.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
What else happens that episode? That's when they have when Jonny puts on a suit to go into the.
Oh my God, that suit!
He was Dwight Schrute. He's rocking a Dwight. I mean, like Piper's watching with me, and she is like, "Why is he dressed as Dwight Schrute? Worst suit ever."
The briefcase that's empty.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, that's good. That's so good.
That's a Dwight Schrute move too. The empty briefcase. I mean,
and you know what? I should have known, and I didn't know. I did not know, but I should have known. I bought it hook, line, and sinker that John Kreese is dead, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he died." Like they kind of like it was like a throwaway line, and I bought it. I didn't know because I watched it live. I watched like the week. I was so amped about it. I watched a week, so I watched it before Martin Cove, the real actor, was on Twitter like every 2 seconds tweeting about it, right? And he actually held off like the first week or two. They probably told him, "Don't fucking tweet that you're involved.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up." Because honestly, I'm watching this whole thing and I'm like, "Oh, damn, Sensei Kreese is dead." Okay, it makes sense. Like Martin Cove must be in his 70s. Like, okay.
Sure.
But you know where my mind went, Wardog, is he's sitting there and he's like, well, Terry Silver, I don't know who this guy is, but John Kreese is dead. And Daniel LaRusso is like, okay, because you have to go back to Karate Kid part, I think it was 3.
When
Terry Silver trains him. And then all of a sudden, when it turns, John Kreese comes out of nowhere and he leaves a little trail of piss running out the door because it scared shit out of him. So, it's kind of like, is he dead or not?
I thought he was dead. I mean, I don't know, like watching it. You were iffy at the time?
I was iffy at the time. I was like, I've heard too many rumors. Guy.
I was staying away, I guess, but I bought it. I had bought it. And
I bought it. I mean, I watched on Netflix and I didn't see it. Like, I knew there was a show on YouTube Red. I had a few friends reach out. They're like, "You need to check this out." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I have, fucking Hulu, Netflix, everything. Like I'm good. I don't need like even if I could have got the free 30-day trial just to to watch it for free, like that seemed like filling out like 28 letters and pressing enter to get and then canceling after. I'm like, I'm good. So no, I did not know. I've been fortunate enough. The only two people from the Karate Kid that I've met are Jonny and Kreese.
Yeah.
Martin Cove is great on Twitter. He's great.
Yeah.
But I bought it. I bought that.
Yeah. Like,
he was an evil guy in the park, and like people came up and asked him for a picture, and so he's like, that's and they're like, well, no, I just want to pick. No, thanks. And I was like, hey, and he's like, hey, I know you. And I was like, can we do a quick pic? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, you fucking ruined. He goes, yeah, that was the good shit, brother. I was like, all right. And then Billy Zabka, it turned out we had a mutual friend. So I mean, like, top 10 nicest celebrities ever.
He's the nicest guy. Like, he's just a
sweetheart. He was at a barcade in Winston-Salem, which is like an hour from me, just like outside with a table in front, like a bunch of friends, a bunch of mutual friends I knew, he knew. They're just like, hey, like, you're traveling through. Do you want to make a grand, to sit out front for an hour of a barcade and sign autographs. But he was a sweetheart.
So that was episode 7 then, right? The tournament, the date.
Yeah.
All right. What's up?
He wins.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Would a dojo really be banned for life from a karate tournament?
I have so many issues with this because John Kreese's picture is hanging in the hallway.
It's like Russell Hands at a Survivor finale.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so if you would have
really have Russell Hands' picture.
If you would have just named the dojo anything else, it would have been fine. Like, it's just the name that's the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, like the first movie was great, very realistic. It was kind of realistic. It's a real movie. Yeah. The second movie, a little bit, the last fighting scene in Okinawa was a little bit extreme, but okay. Yeah. The third movie jumped the shark. Karate Kid 3 jumped the shark, right?
Oh.
Everything about it, Terry Silver and the whole thing jumped the shark, and I could see how what was it like? He traded like chemicals. I don't know what the fuck he did. Millions, but like there was some underhanded shit where they bought Mike Barnes to come and fight, and like the whole thing. I could see why the dojo would get banned, but I don't know.
I've heard rumors that the guy that played Mike Barnes might show up in season 3, and I'm like, no, he freaking ruined the third movie. I don't want to see him anywhere near it. I'd rather see his sidekick friend who was just as pointless as he was. Snake. Okay, Snake. I'd rather see Snake. No.
I think we're gonna.
Well, let's not talk about
no spoilers. No spoilers. Okay. But I would like to think that we're going to get callbacks in future seasons. Just hopefully just quick nods and nothing more. Like I don't need an episode or more. I mean, like, we're talking 30-minute episodes. They're trying to make every word count in their dialogue. Like, if we get a nod here or there, I'm more than cool with that. And
honestly, I think they gave the nod. They at least didn't pretend that Karate Kid 3 didn't exist. They gave the nod to Terry Silver, Mike Barnes in that episode.
They did.
They did. So, all right. What's
so for those of you listening and not watching, we lost Victoria potentially, temporarily, possibly forever, but I don't think she died. So, but just
her phone probably died.
Her phone died.
Her phone got beat with a belt, the silver end.
Yes, the silver end. All right. So next episode, episode 8, and just like a snake, gotta love it. Jonny prepares his Cobra Kai students for the next All Valley Karate tournament, and in turn, he is inspired to clean up his life, Daniel is still unaware of his new pupil's background, but as events unfold, it seems nothing has changed between Daniel and Jonny in 30 years.
Is this where they get together and go on the car? Like they're singing REO Speedwagon together?
I think so. This is the episode, right? That's great.
That's like what I remember the most. Like they become, because his car gets torched.
That's what. Yeah. This is the episode. They first bond over Allie.
Yeah, and the Facebook. What's Facebook?
Yeah, they bond over that, and then they both like make jokes about how her husband looks like a tool, and he's like some sexy tall man that's like a doctor, and he's like an oncologist.
Yeah.
He's like in a ski resort. Like, oh my god, look at this tool.
What a loser!
What a loser!
God.
And they're doing REO Speedwagon in the brand new. He's got the brand new car. No, he's still got the old one now.
No, they were test driving it.
They were test driving the new car because his car got torched. Now, who torched his car?
Louis.
Yeah, Louis. The
guy who thought a dog climbed up the thing and took a shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, with some bikers, because they were potentially exploring a motorcycle franchise to coincide with his sleazy used car dealership franchise. they were gonna incorporate sleazy used motorcycles.
Everybody's got that relative.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that relative.
No, I popped for the REO Speedwagon because my roommate. Right before Survivor was Kevin Cronin, lead singer of REO Speedwagon's son.
Wow.
That was my roommate right before Survivor.
Wow.
So this is the episode where also he takes them to the junkyard, right? Train for the fight.
I think so.
And it was like massive dogs. I saw like running for to the dog whistle. They was like running for their lives. And then this is also like the episode in which Miguel starts getting jealous. He thinks that something's going on. He goes into the house to say hello, and he sees like Robbie there in the backyard.
Oh, Robbie. Yeah.
And then we get the
Robbie's acting in the backyard. You should not be jealous at all.
Yeah. Why are you upset? Look.
Watch him act.
No, stop it. It's fine. Just keep going.
And then I think this is the episode where the mother comes back, so I think it's pretty cool.
I enjoy the mother in that she's so hateable. Like I never wanted to see her again, and she comes back, and I'm just like, oh, I hate you even more. And I'm just like, you know what? Well done. I mean, like that's the goal, right? I mean,
she comes back for one episode without even talking. Like I think it's like that's her quota, one episode per season. But like she does her role for that one episode.
Yeah.
But she'll go down on you if you buy her dessert. So
that's what I hear.
No, not that mother. Talking about Ralph Daniel LaRusso's mother is in that episode.
I totally forgot that.
You're talking about Robbie's mom too.
Robbie's mom. Yeah, Robbie's mom. If you buy apple pie, that's
not Mrs. LaRusso. Nobody wants to buy dessert for that. Okay.
I know you like Allison, like she can go down on you. I'm like Mrs. LaRusso. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, you're getting the hand job and not hand jab from Robbie's mom. No problem. You just little extra butter on the popcorn.
That's right.
Yeah, so will she, apparently.
Robbie's mom is pretty. She's like her. Maybe it's her character, but she's like very unattractive. Robbie's mom.
Yeah.
I think it's just
the way she carries herself, the character. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying about her.
Yeah, no. As I said, I think she's really good at what she does. Every time I see her, I hate her, but that's the goal. So I don't like she's potentially I haven't searched her on Instagram. Like she might be like the hottest girl on the planet. But like she's so good at what she does that I don't find her attractive as a human being, and as a result, I don't find her attractive as a woman.
But she did bring up a good point to Jonny. Like, where were you the whole time? Where were you when he broke his leg skating board? Where were you doing this? Like, as much as she lacks motherly qualities, she has she was there in some key points when
She was at some point
where Jonny didn't have any of that. So
yeah, I mean, and it's not like Jonny taught him how to do his hair.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, like, he could have come back at her like, well, where were you when he got his hair cut? No.
Yeah.
Where were you when he couldn't afford the milk? Is he in cereal with water? Where were you when you were stealing laptops?
That's right.
From his friend who got fired subsequently. Minutes later.
100% got fired, right? He might have got arrested charges. It may have been like,
he's not a good friend. He's not. Look what he did to Samantha Miguel. You are not a good friend, Robbie Keane. You're horrible.
And there's no way he's sharing hair product. He has so little with his limited budget.
Oh man.
Hair product. All right.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Because this is an episode also, I think, isn't the episode where Robbie's like, he's making him do all the wax on, wax off shit, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the thing with the cleaning the windows, and then Daniel goes, "Oh, I love this part," and they have the whole like moment that they had. Which, look, I'm just gonna say, yeah, that was a cool moment, but nothing tops that moment in the Karate Kid when Daniel is sore, busted, bruised. I'm
so
doing
amazing.
all this shit, and he goes, you know, I mean, that is a 30-second scene. But every time I have to rewind it because it still gives me chills. When I saw it for the first time when I was 7 years old. I'm 43 now, and I still have to rewind that. It is amazing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm tired. And he's like, show me sand the floor, show me this, show me that. And he's doing it. And he's like, make all the blocks. It's a great scene.
In the Karate Kid.
In the Karate Kid, it did not match it in this.
It is not replicated whatsoever by the modeling.
All we got out of the model was whoa. I mean, all he says is whoa. I mean, he's is he Joey Lawrence?
Whoa. He's Joey Lawrence. He's got Joey Lawrence's hair. Yeah, that is Blossom's hair. The Blossom Joey Lawrence haircut too.
No, it's more. I think it's more JTT.
It's JT. It's both. I mean, like they're
acting is kind of. You
know what? It's also the guy from the friend from Boy Meets World, not the main kid. His best friend.
Yeah. It's also Shawn Michaels' Dutch boy haircut. Brown tights return. He came back with that haircut for like one. It's just like, what did he do? Like, where did this come from?
It didn't even get any better in season 2. I mean, I'm still.
We don't want to go there.
We're not. But
no, it doesn't.
Horrible act. I mean, like this was a moment, and I think it was a moment that we were all looking for. Like we're like, this has to happen. I mean, you know, the wax on, the white, like it's so instrumental in the Karate Kid. Like possibly the biggest moment in the Karate Kid is that, like going like that's what changes Danielson. And we get a recreation of that same moment. It's like a fart in church.
Yeah, I think that like two of the most iconic moments in the original interaction was a wax on moment, and then a moment in which he finds Miyagi drunk.
Yeah, and he finds out that he had a son.
He was also like a Medal of Honor winner and all this stuff, and he kind of puts Miyagi to bed, and almost like that's when he becomes like he goes from a pupil to like I'm becoming a man that could take like, and those are like iconic scenes. So it's a shame because even the music in this one was good. It was good music. He's doing the flag, but it's just Robbie doing it.
And then Robbie.
Whoa.
Fucking Robbie.
Fucking Robbie Keane fucks it up with whoa.
I mean, I just think it's poor casting. I get it. Like, like John on a day was a good looking dude. So there's like, we got to have a good looking dude. But like, I think Miguel is a hair too good looking. He could have been a hair less good looking and it would have worked more for the character, I think.
Yeah.
And I really do think Miguel was great casting because with the braces, he looks doofy enough early on. Yeah. But they have to make him, he's turning into the Johnny Lawrence of they have to make him the badass attractive to, in a sense, attractive, badass leader, and that's what he becomes, right?
Yeah, no,
he's got to be the new Johnny Lawrence.
He goes ugly duckling to swan to black swan.
To Black Swan.
I like that. Yes, he does.
And we want to talk about season 2, but season 2 he starts growing his hair a little longer.
Yeah.
He has like this whole thing. He's turning Black Swan. That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
I love Miguel. But if he's 1/20th less good looking, might work a little better for the. I mean, because Ralph Macchio wasn't super good look. Like Jonny was supposed to be the better looking of the two.
Yeah, but that brings you into the whole thing where like in the original movie, Daniel is a hero, Johnny's a villain, and in this movie, both Daniel and Jonny are both gray characters, but they're also trying to tell you Miguel is a gray character too, and so is Robbie. They're trying, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, is Miguel supposed to be the good-looking villain that's Johnny Lawrence, or is it supposed to still kind of be you're still kind of rooting for him because you're kind of rooting for his mother? His mother seems like she's still like didn't lose any redeeming qualities. Miguel's mother, right? Like you're confused. You're confused about. And I think that's what they want you to be. They want you to be confused to tune in. Like, where's the story go?
I just remember when this movie came out, my babysitter had 2 teenage daughters that like I hung out with after school. They were like 14 and 16, and it was all Ralph Macchio in Teen Beat, Bot Mac, all of it. They had posters on the wall. It was all about Ralph Macchio. And back in 1984, that feathered hair, all of it, you know, that was it. That was the thing. There was more attention on him. You know, I never heard anything about Billy Zabka.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm saying that the actors made thing that Jonny was supposed to be initially perceived as the more handsome of the two. Yeah. And then, you know, much like that we've seen with Miguel on Cobra Kai, it's an ugly duckling type scenario in which, you know, we saw Ralph Macchio go from ugly duckling to the swan at the end, and he became cool.
Yeah, but see, he looked the same to me during the whole movie.
Yeah, he did.
Like, changed like Miguel.
That shows the lack of versatility of him as an actor.
no, the 80s were so polarizing where they really painted it. And again, William Zabka, he did like 3 movies in a row. He did another second high school movie. Then he did a movie Back to School. Then he did the one where the girl dressed like a boy to teach.
That's one of the guys.
One of the guys, right? So he does 3 movies in a row, and he's like the
3
villain
good
every
movies.
time. 3 good movies, and 3 times that Billy Zabka is like the ultimate villain. So he can't be the teen star that Ralph Macchio was because everybody hated him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like he was such an asshole. But then you're right when you start peeling back the onion, like what did he do wrong? Like guy stole his girl. The guy just trying to get high in the latrine, you know, in the stall.
Latrine.
He was having an argument with his ex-girlfriend on the beach, and he's just holding the radio, turning it down so he can talk to her.
Yeah.
That's it. And then Daniel, whatever, dude, comes in and just like interrupts.
Because all he did was hand on the radio, and Daniel was clumsy and fell. That's what I remember.
And it's like, Daniel, you were the dick in that moment. Johnny Lawrence could have handled it differently, but he's Cobra Kai. You know, he could have.
And he has a rough 35 minutes every day at home. So, I mean, he does have that wearing on his soul.
Just got done with dinner. He's with the boys. He's around.
It was nighttime. He couldn't go to the beach during the day and play soccer with his ex-girlfriend because he had to deal with 35 minutes of terror at dinner. And then you know Dutch was late at the meetup when they all had to meet up with their motorcycles, right? Dutch was late. Never on time, obviously.
Yeah.
So they get there, it's like pitch black. It's probably like 10 p.m. by the time they get to the beach, right?
Yeah.
He's annoyed. He told Allie he'd be there by 6.
Night before school starts. By the way, if anyone remembers.
Yes.
It's so annoying. Poor Johnny. But right. So speaking of parties, episode 9, did we do the episode 9 write-up?
No, here we go.
All
Episode 9, different but same. How great are these titles? Are they really kicking butt with these titles? I mean,
they are.
Really. All right.
Escalito might be one of the best.
Yeah. Quiver,
Quiver.
Despite Johnny's efforts to move forward, he confronts Daniel about the assault on his property. An attempt to appease Johnny makes them revisit the past together.
Oh, that's the Oreo.
Yeah.
That's the Oreo Speedwagon.
Yeah.
And all that on Facebook and all that.
Sorry, but hey, if you want us to hear us discuss this, we did.
Already.
If for some reason you fast forwarded to here.
Right.
Also, Miguel senses is lying to him, and the dojo students try to intimidate the popular kids at a party. Quite the episode.
The party was great. The party was great, right?
Party was so good.
It was really good. I witnessed my first veggie, which is a vagina wedgie.
I just love the fact that I'm hearing a girl say those words out loud in my presence. Wardog, were you familiar with the term veggie?
No, I didn't. That was new to me too. I didn't know that existed. That must be.
I'm all in.
Watching the show, like, is that a veggie? What would that be? A badge wedgie? I don't even know what that is, but it would be painful. I've never had one. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine it'd be easier from behind because that character's name. I'm guessing she's all in on the thong. So we're not talking about a lot of material being pulled up.
No, it's like snapping a rubber. It's nothing. Yeah.
But like, so we're already in episode 9, and there's obviously one character that we've talked a little bit about, and obviously, to my mind, the character doesn't drive the story, but he's great in the story, and that's Hawk, right? Because now Eli's become Hawk, right? So to me, Dutch was my favorite Cobra Kai.
I'm sorry, Eli, then Lip, and then Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk.
Marco
Lip. I'm gonna call you Lip.
And he flipped it on him, and now he's Hawk, and like he kind of steals every scene he's in.
He does.
Like when they go by Bear, he's like talking to the guy about the Dodger game, and
when they say his name, they actually play a Hawk sound.
The Hawk, and he's just like, and now he's got the girl Moon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like stole like the cool kid's ready to leave, and she's like, I'm staying because I'm hanging out with Hawk.
Yeah,
like this guy's badass.
Hawk got a mean girl.
He got a mean girl, and
he got a Heather.
He got a Heather.
He got a
That's
Heather.
pretty strong. Like I've asked my daughter. I'm just like, like I don't want to be, like mean. Like I'm just like, like you guys have like cool kids and not cool. And she's like, they don't really do that anymore, but kind of, sort of, yeah. Just like, are you one of them? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, are you a mean girl? She's like, they don't have anymore. I'm like, oh. I'm like, do you think you would have been a mean girl if they had mean girls?
She might have been. Piper might have been a Heather. Oh man.
I have goals as a father. Like I'm just like, I could be really happy being a dad having a Heather as a daughter.
I find that the whole Miguel, Hawk, Aisha like triumvirate, like they have like really good chemistry together. When they're like planning on crashing this party, when they're at the mini mart buying the beer, and they just have like, and they're like getting drunk together with their solo cups.
It's like super bad.
Like super bad, yeah. They're all kind of like strange, eclectic characters.
Except Dimitri took the last Mr. Pip, so.
They work together, and that's kind of like shows that, yes, the 5 Cobra Kais from the original movie all kind of look similar, like the white male, preppy male, but it shows that that's not why they had a confidence and bonded. It's the group together. It's that being a Cobra Kai, they took Aisha, a Hawk, and a Miguel, and together they're like super confident. Like they either just took over that party and like, this is our shit now. Mm-hmm. And they feed off of each other. And I do like that dynamic.
It's also 2020. I mean, they're showing in 2020, like, that group that made Cobra Kai together, the 5 white guys, like that was how they made movies in 1985. When the first Karate Kid came out? 84. Okay, so filming in 83. Like if you were making a movie for white America, you had even good guys or bad guys. You got the the 5 white guys playing those roles. And in 2020, as a realer look at, I mean, like, I had black friends, I had Mexican friends, I had Asian friends. You could have told that story in 84, and I wouldn't have watched as a 10-year-old kid and been, what does this mean? What? A black girl and a Hispanic guy and a white guy hanging out together. I'm so confused. I never would have thought that. I grew up in the last capital of the Confederacy, so I would have grasped that. But that's just how Hollywood was in 1983. Fast forward to 2020. Yes, they look different, but I don't think the world's that different. I just think the world's that different in that they're actually showing what is a real reality.
That's a real reality. That's a real group. Yeah. That could be a real group.
All day.
Yeah.
All day.
And they're all essentially, prior to Cobra Kai, were all isolated, all nerds.
Yeah.
Right? And Cobra Kai has turned those 3 characters, giving them uber confidence. Like they went in there and owned a party that they would never have been invited to in the past. Right?
Oh, yeah.
They weren't invited this time either, and they just took over the party. And like, what are you going to do? I mean, Aisha's giving out veggies.
If they had shown up before, it would not have gone well.
No, they would have made fun of it and left. Meanwhile, Aisha's giving out veggies. Hawk is stealing a Heather, and Miguel is acting like a jealous bitch. But it's okay, Miguel.
He really went from 0 to 10. Really quick.
He was starting to do those drinks.
Yeah.
Listen, I've never had a fight over this, so I don't know how quick that can escalate. But he really went like on the odometer. That he
had a few. I think it's obvious he had a few beers. Never had 4. And how old is he? He's either 16 or 17.
16. He's like, I think
16 at this point.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah. You give me 4 beers at age 16, I'm not normal. There's no way.
I got drunk for the first time at 17 on half a Zima. Okay, but I'm 4'11", so it's like that's not much.
Well, these are actors; they're probably all like 4'10". So
yeah, they're all like Tom Cruise.
No, actually, Miguel seems a little taller than the rest of the kids.
He does. He does. Like I think that's one of those deals. Like just eyes. Like when they cast Harry Potter and Malfoy, they're just like, we need, and they did not grow up to be the same size. Like I think it's a similar type deal where, I think
he's got like in real life. I think he's gotten taller now. Like he's gotten big. He's grown. Solo.
Yeah, I think we had Robbie the model and Miguel the pretty good actor, and Miguel's like, yep.
Yeah.
What about Bert? Like, we haven't even talked about little Bert, the little Cobra Kai guy with the glasses, the little guy.
Oh, is that his name is Bert? His name is Bert?
Okay. He steals every scene he has.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic.
Just the tiniest little, he's like the runt. And I'm like, I can identify with him. I'm always the runt of the litter. So
he's fantastic.
No, the casting of the Cobra Kai, like I don't know if you noticed, Wardog, when everyone showed up to join Cobra Kai after the bully video, the first 2 guys had WWE t-shirts on.
Yeah, didn't one have an Ultimate Warrior shirt or no?
I think one had an Ultimate Warrior and one had like Royal Rumble or something, WrestleMania, something. Yeah. It was a more generic WWE shirt, but I thought it was so telling. It was just like, yeah, of course the fucking wrestling marks would want to try to learn karate.
Of course, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and not be good at it. Did you ever take karate, Wardog?
No, I did when I was 19. I want to say 19. I did Taekwondo, right? And I did it for about like 5 or 6 months. So I got to like just past every like 3 or 4 months of the test. I got to yellow belt and this and the other. And then I remember being drunk one time. And this is when I got one of the main times I get arrested, probably the most serious one, where I was drunk and I walked in front of, it was like 2, 3 in the morning, in front of like a bakery window. And I essentially just like gave it like 1 or 2 good kicks and just shattered the whole thing. And then like I took some like fake stuff and threw it in the street. So essentially I got charged with like criminal mischief and burglary at the time. And I think after that, I realized maybe Taekwondo is not good for me. I was already like, I used to fight a lot when I was younger, like 19, 20, 21. Both my hands are all broken. And I was like, maybe the kicking was maybe a step too far, I think. It was like the bridge too far.
A bridge too far.
The bridge too far. So
did you get out of it?
So I just like I had signed up like you had to do like 6 months at a time. I paid for 6 months, and I think I got arrested around like month like 5 or like because I was like deeper into yellow belt already. So I think I just stopped.
No, did you get out of the charges?
Oh, I ended up having what they call an ACD. It's an adjournment for continual dismissal. So I had to stay out of trouble for like 6 months, and if I did, then my thing was sealed, which it is. But I mean, I still have to release it to the bar. I still have to give it to Survivor, so it's not really that fucking sealed.
The vault is open.
Yes, but if I didn't, then I'd get those charges. Plus, I had to like pay restitution, pay a lawyer. Yeah, so it's kind of, but it is a small world. I went to law school with this girl, and all of a sudden we started talking. And I come to find out she has 2 best friends, and one is my cousin, who, mind you, all the kids I went to law school with, kids, adults, they're like 15 years younger than me. One's like a cousin I met, like I had last seen when I was like 16, 17, and she was like 5 or 6, right? And I just found out, now I went to law school with her 3, 4 years ago, and I just found out last year that the other best friend they have is the daughter of the defense attorney who got me out of those 2 felonies. It's just a small.
Oh my God, that is insane.
It's such an, and meanwhile, they're all from different parts of the country. The girl I went to law school is from California. The other girl's from New York, the lawyer, and then the other girl is from Massachusetts, my cousin, but they all went to the University of Michigan together in Ann Arbor. And like, it's just such a small world. It's such a Kevin Bacon world out there. But yeah.
Oh, Kevin Bacon. Yes.
But I do kind of regret, maybe I think I started Taekwondo, whatever. I started that at the wrong time in my life when I was always getting drunk and getting into fights. Because I think I would have liked to explore that as like maybe as a teenager and to continue to go in. I think it's great.
Yeah. I think
I've never taken karate. Yeah. I think that's obvious.
I think I was like 12, maybe. I got a yellow belt.
Oh, okay. How high up is that? I don't even know.
It's the second one. You go white to yellow.
First one after white.
Yeah.
But everyone that in Cobra Kai at the tournament has a black belt. Even Robbie Keane has a black belt. Yeah. He's been training for like a week and a half.
Self-taught.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Well, we don't know.
Well, in the first movie, they said in the beginning, what belt is he? Because this term is only for brown belts and black belts.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you notice, I didn't notice until I rewatched it and I was older, but the Cobra Kais in the film, the black belts are wearing the black gi with the cutoff shirts, and the brown belts have brown gis. Because there was a couple of Cobra Kai, there's like this one fat guy that got beat by like the other not Daniel LaRusso. And also the black guy that ended up being in the Revenge of the Nerds movie that Daniel LaRusso fights in his first match or second match, he's got a brown gi also. And so does Jimmy, the one who the Cobra Kai who doesn't talk at all, the one of the 5. He has a brown gi and a brown belt. But it's pretty interesting how they do that. Yeah. Wow. It's like a very dark brown. It's very dark brown, but yeah, it's brown.
Wow. That is, I'm impressed. It's very rare that people impress me with their movie knowledge.
Wardog. Nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier to see you as a brown gi Cobra Kai.
Please dress up like that for Halloween.
I'm Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah, I'm Jimmy. More words than Jimmy ever said.
That car was Bert's gi from Cobra Kai. Bert.
No, I think these kids all got the black one. They all got the black one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bert, little Bert.
That much attention to detail.
So episode 9 leaves off. Also, one thing I guess we have to discuss it. I hate to have to discuss it, but Dale finds out that Robbie is Johnny's son.
Yeah. Oh well, hold on real quick before we get there. We also see another homage in that, you know, goes to push Robbie and accidentally pushes Samantha.
Yes, at the party.
Yeah. So and that's, you know, an homage, you know, to Jonny and Daniel at the party by the beach, kinda, you know, like.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we understand that Miguel doesn't know how to drink. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious that he was drunk. He's 16. He's never drank before. Isn't Samantha kind of a shitty girlfriend if I can be like, well, that's it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, has he ever been drunk before? No. I mean, I'm not saying he should. You know, she's upset. I think that he just hit her, but getting in a fight. I mean,
I didn't even feel that he hit her.
Well, here's the thing: she and Robbie are coming down the hill holding blankets and holding hands.
Yeah,
like their fingers are intertwined, coming down. I'm gonna bust out into fight mode, and I'm not even a fighter. I mean, I'm like, I'll turn into Scrappy Doo in 2.5 seconds. But
and Robbie was kind of a bitch by letting Samantha get in front. Like, you know, this motherfucker is self-taught karate in a fucking week and a half. He doesn't have the reflexes to move the girl he's trying to steal out of the way and take that punch himself.
Right. So it's his fault. Let's just blame Robbie. It's Robbie's fault.
It's Robbie's bad acting that caused Miguel to lose his relationship with Samantha.
Robbie got drunk, he accidentally hit her, but it's freaking Robbie's fault.
Yeah. It's Robbie's fault.
It's just his fault. I'm done with him. Ugh.
All right, so
I mean, Robbie was totally trying to steal the girl. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Okay. Yeah, that very believable limp all of a sudden and gets Samantha out of the house and then starts walking normal while they're still in view of the mother. And she said, yeah, let's go to a beach party. My boyfriend is probably wondering where I am. And then his face just changed. Well, it doesn't change. It's the same face. But it's just like...
He knows your boyfriend's going to be there, so he's purposely going to grab your fucking hand walking down the hill up towards your boyfriend.
Right.
Wants to make sure she doesn't fall.
Just grab her arm. Yeah. Just grab the arm. There's no need for this.
No, the hill was steep. It was a steep hill.
Yeah, but she's also
a damn hill.
She too is a master of karate that I think can walk down a fucking hill.
She knows balance. She knows how to balance. She's been on that log. She knows.
Yeah, she's been on the log.
She's been on the log for hours.
Wait. Before we wrap up this episode, can we talk about briefly the uselessness of a character that is Daniel's son?
Oh my God, yes. Antonio, is that his name? I think his name is
Antonio. He has one redeeming quality. When the dad takes away his like whatever toy he has, he's like, he's like, Alexa, order me another one. And he's like, no, Alexa,
order me another Nintendo Switch or whatever, no, PlayStation. What was it? Was it PlayStation Vita?
Whatever it was.
I didn't know what it was.
That was funny.
And once again, that was a nod to like they don't think they could get Nintendo Switch on board as a sponsor because it's YouTube Red. And they're just like fucking PlayStation Vitas or PS Vita. No one's buying those motherfuckers. Like they could use that. So let's write in PS Vita and hopefully get that sponsor money, even though it's not there yet.
Well, this kid did defend his dad at one point in one of the episodes. The Armenian guy, his son, was at the table with Antonio. Like, well, my dad could do that. Well, my dad knows karate and could beat up your dad. Well, why don't you know karate? I would be trying to teach my son karate.
I think he's tried.
Yeah.
I think Samantha got his blood.
Well,
what's the son's name? Antonio?
I think it's Antonio.
I think Antonio is a reflection of how Daniel's given up on what was good about his life. I think Antonio's born like right after Miyagi dies, and Daniel's given up on like the teaching karate, like his moral code, all the things that made Daniel a good person kind of slack off when Miyagi dies. And that starts the lifespan of Antonio, and he's representative of the slack that is in Daniel's life today.
And he doesn't even make his son get a haircut. Like he just looks like I don't care, but I don't even want to be a dad right now.
He looks like the kid that eats the cake in Matilda.
He probably eats many cakes.
The kid that's eating the chocolate cake.
I still haven't figured out, at least in the first season, I haven't figured out his purpose as a character, but maybe
he's so worthless. That's it. I think he's representation of Daniel giving up on.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, he's a visual illustration of that.
He obviously raised Samantha differently in her first few years.
He definitely showed favoritism.
Yeah.
Yes. At breakfast, remember he's like, where's the banana pancakes? And he's like, eat your muffin. And then all of a sudden she's like coming down and he's like, hey, I'll make some banana pancakes. And he's like, wait, what about me? And he's like, I just asked for that.
Your sister. Dude, she just fucking walked out. She's pissed at you because you're a dick. I'm going to eat them. My banana. I love the throw to Bananarama because they had that song Cruel Summer, which every time it comes on, I'm picturing Daniel LaRusso walking off the soccer field all upset after that fight with Cobra Kai.
With Bobby, yeah.
With Bobby, it's such a cruel summer.
I can tell you, speaking as a father in 2020, that watching with my 12-year-old daughter in the scene, where she takes the phone and then the brother's like, and get her her iPad and watch and all. She can communicate through all those things. And watching with my 12-year-old daughter was just face palming, like, oh, now he knows.
Now all the tricks are gone.
Yeah. And I'm just like, if you think I didn't know all these things, you were sadly like, who do you think also has this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I too am in communication, and other than not TikTok, I'm there.
Like,
so I know your trick.
The show ruined it for her.
Yeah, but she's sitting there. She's like, "Oh no! Like this motherfucker just ruined everything." why would they do a show to show that to parents?
Yeah.
So.
Well, look, she's lucky she has all that stuff. My son did not get a cell phone until he was about 14, and that was 10 years ago. For his 14th birthday in 2010, he got a little slip. What do they call it? The sidekick or whatever. It flipped open and it had a little keyboard, and then he flipped it back.
Sure.
I forgot.
And the sliding scale technology, like Piper just got hers at age 12, and so I think 14 to 12 in 10 years. I think we're on a very similar path.
But that was a different time, believe it or not.
Yeah,
it was a very different time.
All right, we're on our final episode, episode 10, the season finale. It's called Mercy, and it's the highly anticipated All Valley Karate Tournament.
Another great title. Another great title of an episode. Mercy is another great title.
Oh, absolutely. Bring Daniel on opposite sides again, except this time the new generation of karate students are the combatants who will pay for ultimate victory.
Well, first off, let's even though we because YouTube Red was so bad about showing clips later on, in the first episode what happens this season. Yeah. So it was obviously going to wear the black gis. So that was spoiler in their little quick trailer, right?
Yeah, but did we know they were going to have the blue and gold mat instead of?
No. Okay, that guy is great. That guy steals the scenes too.
He's my favorite person.
Badass knee for a dojo.
As you're coming out, and they have the biggest like Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, and like everybody else just gets regular intros.
It was 2 years ago for the first time, even though I've seen Karate Kid like a dozen times. I didn't realize that was a fist, that insignia with the fingers. I didn't realize that was I never realized that. And then when he said that, I was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh my God, the whole time as a fist. Yeah. But it's iconic. The brackets, they do it on the TBT tournament, which is like a basketball tournament they've done for like last 6 years of all guys.
One from 1984.
The same one. They do that on the TBT. I just think that like the fact that these like players now in the 2015 to 20 of this like tournament for like non-NBA players that put this thing together every year use the Karate Kid brackets. It's like iconic. The mat is iconic. I don't know how I didn't know that was a fist, but the fact they went to blue and gold, maybe because they couldn't find the old mat. They just got, like the fact they made a storyline. I just love it.
There's a behind the scenes story that I'm sure is equally as hilarious as the explanation that's given. But once again, this is a show that it's 30 minutes per episode, and to take the time to, because there was someone that's just like the mats are supposed to be red and black, what? And they're just like, we got blue and gold, and they're just like, well, let's explain it away in 3 ridiculous sentences that, like, as I said, the show is filled with these, and I love them. They're so forced. I mean, like they're like it's like an artist. It's like a lyricist that shoehorns syllables to make shit. Like they do that with the script lines into 30-minute episodes. They shoehorn them in. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna switch to blue and gold, and then we're gonna do a callback.
They call back to it again. They have to make sure you know about it. And this one, I think this episode is like 40 minutes long. It was a little longer, right? Because there's a lot going on in it. Yeah. And the whole thing was at the tournament. So like it was still a cool moment when he's like, you're not wearing these, put those away, right? So they come out with their blackies.
Yeah, but remember what happened before that? They didn't think he was going to show up. And I hate to keep bringing him up, but little Bert just happened to be in the strip mall buying some gum or whatever. And it was really a titty magazine. Yeah. He's like, no, I don't think he's coming because I saw him outside the strip mall and he's sitting there pissing on the rented car with his, we're all gonna die. He's got these frozen shirt, his 40 down. And it's just, that scene to me is just so funny. Little Bert had his moment. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, he did have his moment. Yeah. And then they get the gi, and then again, they show the picture of Kreese. I didn't. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I was just kind of like, oh, this is just showing that Jonny is going to have a Kreese moment in this tournament, not necessarily
that we're getting Kreese.
That we're getting Kreese, right? Yeah. The tournament itself, obviously, they wanted to recreate that fourth guy, right? Because like in the original movie, there was like, you knew Bobby and Jonny were really good. And Daniel's good, but there had to be some other random threat because this tournament is not just Cobra Kai against Daniel. Yeah. So there's an other guy who in real life actually like supposedly in the behind the scenes like was really good at karate, right? Because every movie does in the original Karate Kid is like really good, right? And like Jonny does like basic punches and kicks.
Yeah, you bring the people that can legitimize it.
Yeah. So we had the worst one, Xander, right?
The
guy in the blue.
What was that? What's that fighting style called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's Kakata. I don't know, something. I hate it. It's like the
Kata,
word, there's a Bob's Burger episode about
it. But his mother is one of the most annoying characters.
Oh, hateable. Yeah. Hateable. She's the helicopter mom.
She is.
And then the speech he gives.
Yeah. I have a moment of silence for.
Yeah, he's going on and on, and then eventually the blue mat guy just takes the mic away.
He's like 10 seconds into his moment of silence, he just takes it from him.
Yeah, well, the blue mat guy identifies more with Jonny than he does. Like once again, this is a kind of a shout out to the 40s dads that that are sick of the participation awards. We're sick of the peanut allergies. It's just like, we got it. Like, the
Cobra Kai, badass name for a dojo. He's like a badass name for a dojo.
Yeah. So we already get that, he's on the cool fun tip, and it's just like, look, we're at a fucking karate tournament. All right. We got like, how about have peace before and after you get here? We're watching fighting for the next 3 hours.
I don't want peace when I'm watching that. And I am happy that Yaya smoked a blunt before.
Well, obviously.
Yes, Yaya did. But the mother, she has, if you zone in on her mood changed throughout the whole tournament. The more she sees the ruthlessness of her son, the more, like, Yaya is always still high and clapping and cheering.
She's like,
but
okay.
The mother is starting to like understand that this is not my Miguel. And she's not very happy when he wins at the end. She's like, she could tell, but
I think she's seeing shades of Miguel's father.
Yes, which we don't know who that is.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but I think that, like, in addition to seeing her, like, she's worried about the karate to begin with, karate.
Karate.
I apologize here.
We've been saying it wrong the whole time. Why?
I straightened us out right now.
Karate. Yeah, karate.
Okay. And I think she was worried about that originally, and then and she has reasons to be suspect of Jonny, who does himself no favors at most points of his life up until now. And so those two things, and then she just sees a viciousness, which she also, as a mother, doesn't approve of. Watching her son, do vicious acts. And I think that's all compounded with the fact that we know a little bit about Miguel's father. We know it's not good, and I think she's seeing shades of Miguel's father there.
Well, not to be spoilery, but I can't remember. Okay, never mind. Because I was going to say, do we find out a little bit more about his father and see? But I can't.
No,
I don't want to spoil.
No. There's a couple of tournament moments I like that are not like the main event. One, I like how Aisha is so upset after her loss, and she's talking to Sam, and she's like, it would be nice to have another girl out there. Why don't you join Cobra Kai? And Sam's like, my dad would kill me, like, no chance. But I think in her mind, I think that it kind of sinks into Sam, like, maybe I want to do this. Yeah. And Sam makes one of the fucking biggest power moves of the entire show when she leaves before the final match. That is such a fucking
that is
power move.
That will. I can tell you, being in love at that age, like, I can't remember what year or what birthday it was, but I mean, like, it's 14, 15, 16, right around there. And I had a birthday party, and at a girl no show, a girl that I was talking to no show, and I can tell you that is probably the most evil I was that entire year that day. Like, I mean, you're destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, it was like to both. I mean, even like Robbie, to everybody, like, it was just a power move for her. Not, and I think it made him more vicious in the final match. Like,
absolutely,
it was like he had is so angry, and then
that was Anakin becoming Darth Vader, right? Like the first steps of Anakin going to the dark side is that moment where Padme is not there, i.e. Samantha leaving.
Yeah. It was a master moment, and the fact that she could pull it off, it was just like great. Like, even it's her father's like managing this guy, like everything is about to like, and she just leaves. That was a power move.
Oh, the whole family leaves Daniel there. They just leave him.
They just leave him.
Just leave him.
And then, and I love the fact that Hawk, one of his matches, he like fights, he just like jumps out of nowhere and just like forearms some poor schmuck, and then takes off his top. He like flexes his wings, and like his girl Moon is like, oh my god,
I'm so in love with hell.
Yeah.
And what is that? The Dimitri guy is like, I think I'm going to start doing this now, but not because I agree with the violence, but it's the camaraderie-ship of a gang.
Yeah. He's down to do it.
Yeah.
The fight itself,
Yeah, the fight. I love the crane to start.
Oh,
Like,
that
was that too
Oh.
soon? Do you hate that they gave that away?
No, because it already got shot in Karate Kid 2, so the crane doesn't work. Like
Okay.
it's not going to be the move, right?
Yeah,
you know that. Like the crane,
so just give it right out of the fucking gate and
the fact he just uses somebody is kind of like
get everything you're gonna get out of it. It's right there.
Yeah, it's not yet.
But it was a big to Daniel.
It's huge. But at the same time, like could it have been built up for more? And I think the Wardog has a valid point. It was so discredited in Karate Kid 2.
Oh my God.
There's no there's a little bit of juice there. Get that just squeeze that old lemon right now and then cut open a new lemon, because if you're trying to make lemonade, there's nothing left there except that little bit, and get it.
Yeah, and they got it, which is like a FU. The only thing that was left was a FU. From Jonny directly to Daniel.
Yeah. Okay. I'm cool with that. Because I was wondering if there was any more meat on the bone. And I think you're right. I think it was just like it was ruined as a finisher.
Karate Kid 2.
Karate Kid 2.
I think they even tried it in 3. Or maybe they did. I don't know.
It's like Ric Flair with the figure 4. It's just like, when does he win a match with that?
No. It's Jericho the Codebreaker in 2001.
There you go.
That was like his movie had that. Yeah, it's like now it's like it's not even a move. It's okay. Yeah. The match itself. I guess you watched it the first time. I wasn't sure who was going to win, but then once you built the injury in, it seemed like it was a logical storytelling to have Miguel win. He was training longer. He was not hurt, and obviously it pushes the narrative further to have Miguel win. And to have Cobra Kai win, versus like Daniel beating Jonny. The match itself is nothing to write home about. But it's the aftermath of that match, which I think is like 4 straight scenes that each one gets a little better than the next, that are just amazing. And it really made me, and you, Jonny, were fortunate enough where you're just like, okay, let me watch season 2 now, because you watched it together back to back. Me and Allison had to wait a year after watching that, right?
Oh my!
I've been pretty fortunate. I mean, like I'm usually out of the. Well, I'm not usually. I am out of the loop at the beginning for like Lost. I started season 4. Game of Thrones, I think I started like right after the finale, which was the perfect time. Well, other than having to watch the final season, but like Breaking Bad, I think I started like season 3 or 5. Like what? Like I've been so fortunate in these shows. They're just like they're really awesome, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'll check, and I'm just like, and they're there, and so for me, like waiting from a season 4 to a season 5 is like, oh, this sucks. But then I take a step back and I'm just like,
it's only your first time. Yeah, other people suck for 3 straight years now. Before
a lot of motherfuckers waited a lot longer. So as getting back to the fight, you thought it was a foregone conclusion that Cobra Kai would win. Allison,
No. I said I wasn't sure who was going to win the fight, but I said in retrospect, now that that Miguel trained longer and that Robbie was hurt, narrative speaking to tell the story further, it makes sense that Miguel won. But I wasn't sure before the fight. I was not sure.
See, I didn't know how it was going to go, and I'm watching Miguel become a bad guy in front of my and I don't like it in a sense of, oh man, Miguel, you're better than this. But then, there's part of me that's just like, I'm a bad guy. I love bad guys. This is awesome. This makes me so happy. And so with all that going on, I'm just like, who do they let, what is the story that they tell? Do they let the bad guy? I mean, because I think the episode ends with Miguel as a bad guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that, like, Jonny, if you watch towards the end of that fight, he's shaking his head no. He's like, he doesn't agree with it. He's not even happy with it.
Yeah.
He goes up to his son, and because there is a moment, after he hurts his shoulder.
Oh, that was so great. Well,
he has
that might have been ruined because, like, rumor and innuendo, we might see that down the road, and I feel like they threw that away as a joke here in season 1.
He had a good conversation. Daniel had a good conversation with Robbie about his, look, he's your father, no matter what. And I think that when that fight was over and he went up to his son, and that was a kind of a tender moment, but still watching his son walk away with his arch enemy had to sting so much. But watching that fight for the first time, and how Robbie was injured and he's fighting in one arm, and I'm sitting here thinking, Miguel's going to win. He's going to win this fight. There's no way around it. They're going to have to flip it, because in the original movie, it was Daniel that won. And if you're going to continue this story, you can't have
things are reversed.
Yeah, you can't have the same story.
Yeah, narratively, it has to be. In retrospect, like when I'm watching, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm starting to think, but now in retrospect, the only choice is for Miguel to win the fight.
Yeah, to do the reverse of the Karate Kid. I mean, the story begins of Cobra Kai episode 1 of, Johnny's kind of good, Daniel's kind of bad. So if we're gonna end the first episode like the first movie, instead of the good guy winning, let's let the bad guy win.
Yeah.
Because it's just the symmetry to go across the story. We're reversing from the beginning. We have to reverse at the end.
And you see that scene. So like when Allison talked about it, when he talks to Robbie after the fight, he's trying to apologize, and Robbie's like, I understand. He even calls him dad. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, Dad. He says, it's almost like he's like disappointed in his dad, but he understands it's okay. And he walks away with his arch enemy. And then Miguel's like, this is for my sensei. And he's like celebrating, right? And so Lawrence. And Johnny's not into it. And then you start seeing him. His mom goes talk to Miguel, and Miguel's looking around like, where's Samantha? Dimitri's like, oh, she left, man. Like, but let me tell you why I'm going to join Cobra Kai. And Miguel is like, he's not there. Yeah. The conversation with Dimitri, he's like, I'm not big on the violence, but he's not there. He's like, oh my God, what do you mean Samantha left? Like, where's she at?
Who's she fucking is all he's thinking. He's like, I just beat the ass of the one guy that I thought she might be fucking. Who else is she fucking that I need to fuck up?
That's right.
And then, so mind you, my non-spoilery ass, the week it came out, I literally binged it in 2 days back in April 2018 or May 2nd, whatever it was. You're watching it, then they flash back to like that cool scene of Samantha doing her like karate thing. It's really quick. Like she's like doing a roll. You're like, oh shit. So Samantha's going to get into it because obviously like amongst the non-karate performers in season 1, Samantha was the most dynamic character. Like I like to see where her story goes because she's actually like, her character's interesting, right?
Yeah.
She got a little love triangle going. Plus she's like, actually like, you're not annoyed when you see her on the screen.
Yeah, she's a better actor.
She's a better actor, yeah.
Once again, thank you, Robbie, for making everyone a better actor.
He would make
by proxy.
and then I tell you, man, I'm watching this, and I'm watching with a friend of mine at the time. I dragged somebody in the show with me, and I'm watching this, and all of a sudden they're in the car, Robbie and Daniel, and they're going like to like the train. I said, holy fuck. I recognize the street from Karate Kid every time he went. Yeah. I was like, they're going to me. I was like, holy, like the vision opened up, like where, because the road's kind of dark, and that's what I was like, holy fuck! And then all of a sudden, like, and they're still like on the main street. There's still like lights. They're not even in Miyagi's garage, and then they pull in to Miyagi's garage, and obviously, like, you see a little bit of that one car because he owns. And I know already he owns the yellow car. So the rest of the cars are all.
Miyagi left that all to him. You know he did.
Yeah, and like the other cars, they're all covered, so they're probably nothing, right? But he has a little. That's actually the original yellow car, and then he goes to the backyard, which actually now behind the scenes, like they spent a bunch of time to build that in Atlanta, like that to recreate that whole like backyard. And he turns the lights on. He's like, and it's like that serene. He's like, "Welcome to Miyagi-Do Karate," and he was like, "Wow, this is such an emotional way to end it," and then it's not ended.
Yeah.
Okay. And as much as
you're ready, I mean, you're ready to get up from the couch.
Yeah, like, it's like the crest.
That's all I needed.
Game on, right?
Yeah.
And as much as episode 5 might be my favorite episode, my favorite scene, and I think I rewinded it 10 times again, is that last final scene. You hear the door swing in. It could be anybody, right? Probably Miguel, whatever. And you hear the voice, and I immediately said, holy fuck.
That's John Kreese.
That's John Kreese.
Yep.
And he's going to a cigar. We're back on top. They all counted us out.
Yeah, and he smokes those in real. I mean, like I met him in the parking lot of a Comic-Con. We were hanging out, and he's like, "Oh shit, Johnny, smoking a cigar, just like." Yeah.
And he says the story has just begun, and you see Johnny's face, and he's like ghost white, like he's, and they ended, and that is incredible. One of the best ways to end a season ever.
And here we have to wait. But the funny thing about that is, I was watching that tonight with my husband, and when you see the silhouette of John Kreese and you hear his voice, my husband was laying back in his chair. He kind of sits up and he goes, "That's the guy." He goes, "Isn't that the guy?" And I'm like, "That's the guy."
Oh, so your husband saw for the first time?
Yeah, he's seen the Karate Kid, but he'd never seen Cobra Kai at all.
Okay.
So he was like, it just seeing his excitement.
Yeah, Sweep the Leg. So I mean, Sweep the Leg Johnny is a top 20 line in cinema.
Yeah.
but you hear his voice, and then all of a sudden you realize who it is, and then he finally comes out of the silhouette, and he's got that smile and a cigar, and he's like, takes out the story has just begun. He's like, it was like they all counted us out.
Yeah.
He goes, but we're back. Now we're on top. And he's like, in that line, I remember keep watching. I'm like, holy fuck. And I was like, how did I not see this the whole time? How did I sit here and not realize he's still alive? And how did and then writers, how did they keep it a secret from all the previews? So the first couple weeks said no mention of Martin Cove. And how did they just fucking nail that scene so perfectly? His little monologue was perfect. The way he looked with his Botox in his face and
he looks awesome.
Oh, he looks amazing. He looks. I looked him up. He's over 70 years old.
I know. I looked him up too. Like that.
His little highlights.
About that dude that we're looking up to see his age because he looks. He looks
so good. That's why I'm like, how old is this guy?
Gray hair,
and he's got the collar up, the whole look. He just fucking nailed it. And then you just knew that, holy shit, this is not just some nostalgic little season fan service. You actually have a real plot now moving forward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I think it upped the ante.
It upped the ante with adding John Kreese. Because now you see how torn. You already saw how torn Johnny was during the fight, watching his son.
Did damage to him. Like he really did some emotional just damage to him.
Yeah, I mean, his life's been shit for the last 3 decades, right? 3+ decades.
Yeah.
You see that ghost. It's like, think of the one person that you would hate to see that's still alive, and they pop up in your life, and it's like a trigger of some kind, and it's like, I can't,
Well, he lost the girl to Daniel. He loses the fight that is for all given purposes his to win. Like that's his tournament to win. He's supposed to be the grand champion. He was a cool kid.
He loses the dojo because the dojo's done after that, right? All the kids quit.
Yeah,
the Cobra Kai is finished.
Yeah. So his friend group is dismantled, and then the person that he looks at to be the father figure, other than those 35 minutes at dinner, that guy is not there to console him.
Say, he's actually there to choke him out.
He's there to break his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, and if at that point he's feeling this low because he feels like, he's like, "What do you mean, Sensei? You taught me no mercy," Miguel, right before the last point, right? And he realizes that at that moment that he taught him like John Kreese, but John Kreese is beyond a flawed leader or mentor, and he feels defeated as he's drinking his Miller High Life in his office, even though his dojo is popular as his dojo is popular as ever. They won the tournament. Everything's perfect, and he's so depressed of how he let himself be John Kreese. And the last person he'd want to see in his life at that moment go through the door is John Kreese.
That's how it always gets. Like the last person that you want to see, like it's like, I don't have makeup on, I look like shit, I'm in Costco, I run into an ex. Okay. It happens. It's horrible.
There you go.
It's just the way it works. And it is.
All right.
But yeah, that's season 1 in a nutshell, and it was a fantastic season, and it left us with a lot of questions.
What do we give it on a number scale? I mean, like, honestly,
I'm
10 out of 10.
I'm 10 out of 10, and it's the first, like in 2018, they had like 23 Rotten Tomato reviews, and they were all 100%. Like there was 100%. They were all approved. That season is, and we'll get to talk about the second. Second season is very good. It's not 10 out of 10. It's very good.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
It's tough to follow up season 1 because season 1's a 10 out of 10. It's just
they did everything right other than capturing Robbie.
Except for Robbie.
And for the record, Robbie makes everyone else better. So kudos.
That's why he's a 10. He did some good. He made everyone else better.
Everyone else better.
Yeah.
But even his character showed different sides of Jonny.
Yeah. And for the record, like go back. I mean, like look at the people in 80s movies. They, this genre of cinema, we had lesser actors in those 80s movies.
Yes.
And Robbie is very representative of that one-dimensional actor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go back. You can't go back now. He's like now. You're
stuck with him. It's in the soap.
Well, you can change. You can change the motherfucker. No, I got no like. If they brought in someone that could act,
it makes me feel more justifiable because the two people I've seen, the one person I saw the show with more recently, I had her watch season 1 and 2 with me, and she's without spoiling season 2, but she's Team Miyagi-Do. She's Team Miyagi-Do and Team Miyagi-Do characters, including Robbie, and she's big Samantha, Robbie, this, that, and the other, but it bothers me so much. And not it bothers me so much. It actually made me happier to like more justification of how much I dislike Robbie, that I can sit here and be Team Miguel and Hawk and Aisha and maybe somebody else. So we learn in season 2. I can be all of them, actually 2 other people that are from that we learned from Cobra Kai. And I'm happy about being Cobra Kai. Yeah. Okay. And
my daughter's Cobra Kai.
Okay, good.
Like, cause I like watching her, like, stare down, Jonathan JTT, and I'm just like, oh, please tell me you're better than this. And she is like, I'm all about Miguel, and I'm like, all right.
Listen, I'm Team Bert. I'm Team Bert.
Yes, without giving anything away, Team Bert at least doesn't. Some people defect. Team Bert doesn't defect.
Yeah,
Bert's not.
He's a real man.
Bert is Bert. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about season 2. Somebody else I can't wait to talk about.
All right. Peek behind the curtain. How soon are we doing a season 2 podcast?
I want to say like a month because
let this marinate.
We'll let it marinate. Okay. Maybe something around like right before Halloween. Since Halloween this is a big day. Not Halloween, but somewhere in mid-late October, and then we'll do the next one at the end of the year where we all come up with our theories for season 3.
We can dissect the trailer.
Just the trailer, everything else. Yeah, there's the trailer for season 3. I shared it with Allison already. We were all excited about that. But
when did that come out? I haven't seen the trailer for season 3.
I'll say it to you. It's literally like it's a trailer for season 3. It's not really a trailer. It's a Netflix trailer that is a trailer for season 1 and 2, and it says coming in 2021, and it's literally a like 8-second clip. Okay, it's like a teaser.
It's a teaser.
It's the amazing 8 seconds. It's like, fuck.
Okay, I have not seen that.
Listen, if people can analyze the shit out of a 10-second Star Wars trailer,
you can do that. You can just same for Cobra Kai.
Honestly, for the 3rd episode, we can go like literally character by character and where we see their arc going in season 3, because it's really an ensemble cast, and they added more. They added more good characters.
And Robbie.
And Robbie's there.
But Jonny, I want to ask you. So, Allison and I are gigantic Cobra Karate Kid fans. We all know these different little factoids. So we all watched it like when it first came out. But you watching it now recently when it got on Netflix, watching those 2 seasons, obviously being a Karate Kid fan, but maybe not at the highest level. Watching it, you might have some expectation. I heard it's good, but how surprised were you when you watched it, how good it actually is, like what they actually did with it?
Okay, well, getting back to Karate Kid fandom, I saw Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 in the theater.
I did too.
You forgot about the body bag thing. So, you're not the same, you forgot about the body bag thing. I mean, that's very disappointing.
Well, I mean, I remember. I just remembered it was from an '80s movie. I've watched so many movies. A lot of my stuff that I watched multiple times was like, I probably watched like Caddyshack like 100 times, Ferris Bueller's Day Off like 100 times. Like, I don't think I owned a copy of Karate Kid on VHS.
Yeah, I owned
because back in the day, like VHS movies, like in '85, were like $80.
No, but my mom did that thing where you sign up that whatever it was, where you get like 8 free movies and you have to buy like 3 a year.
Yeah.
They're like really expensive.
Yeah.
So like growing up, I had like the same like 15, 20. Like I had 8 movies, then every year I had like 2 or 3 more. So the ones I watched over and over. I had Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so I must have seen it like 20 times. So when you're a kid and you have literally 20 VHSs. Like that's what you watch. You watch it over and over.
Exactly. Karate Kid was not my 20 VHSs.
It wasn't, but they always just show it on my version of like. It was before WB. It wasn't really a channel, but it was like.
See, I don't watch a movie with commercials or that's.
I wasn't as snobby as you. Okay. I wasn't.
Yeah. I also didn't have HBO or any of that when I was a kid. I mean, we would have HBO for like what they would do, like the 1 month, trial or whatever. I remember watching Modern Problems, 15 times in a month because it was on 15 times.
No, we didn't have HBO either. But the Karate Kid was one of those movies that it would show on the regular channels with commercials because it was like a wholesome show.
Yeah.
So getting back to your original question.
And shit all the time.
Yeah.
All 3.
I watched all 3 at the theater. Even Karate Kid 3, I watched at the theater.
I'm sorry.
And so my expectations, like I wasn't 100% sure of the premise, but it was vaguely pitched to me that Johnny's the good guy, Daniel's an asshole, and I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I've met John Kreese and I met, Billy Zabka, and they were both super cool in real life. I'm a bad guy on television and kind of real life. They kind of are the same. And so I'm just like, this premise sounds like,
the possibility.
And I will say I was a little disappointed briefly in that I wanted Daniel to be more of just a straight up asshole. I just wanted him just to be just the pure villain with no redeemable qualities because I just wanted a role reversal, and I was actually pleasantly surprised and happy that they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in reality, they went a route and they really put those guys both in the gray. They both have good. I mean, as much as we want to say Johnny's like a fun asshole, he makes his peanut allergy jokes, he has a lot of flaws.
Big time. Yeah.
And as much as in his mind, Daniel LaRusso thinks he does no wrong.
Yeah.
He's got flaws too.
Yeah. That's really good. And there's still some good there hidden in him.
Yes.
Like plenty of good. So
plenty of good. I listen, and we'll get talking about season 2. There are many characters in Miyagi-Do that I can root for that are likable, and Daniel becomes, I think, more likable in season 2 than he is in season 1. Almost
a hair too likable for me.
Maybe, yeah. It started getting a little cheesy likable, but yeah. But I tell you, one spoiler: Robbie Keane doesn't get more likable for me.
No.
Well, he doesn't become a better actor in season 2.
No, he doesn't improve. You guys are talking like I saw the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank in it.
I did too.
And I'm like,
It's
anything could happen.
better than Karate Kid 3.
Show up in season 3.
The 3 producers said that all 3 films and the next Karate Kid, all 4 that Miyagi were in, are all canon. Any of those characters are in play. So Hilary Swank technically is.
I'm all for Hilary Swank coming back and going.
I saw Next Karate Kid at the theater.
Next Karate Kid is 3 times. It's like 10 times worse than Karate Kid 2, but 3 times better than Karate Kid 3.
Oh my god!
Maybe. Yeah, I mean,
it's like Karate Kid 2, Next Karate Kid, and then somewhere in the doldrums is Karate Kid 3.
It's like Apollo for Rocky.
Which one?
I was going to just do
Apollo, the Rocky spinoff.
Yeah, it's like Apollo. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like immensely better than 5.
Rocky 5. Yeah. It's like they should have stopped at Rocky. Even Rocky Balboa was not a bad movie. Rocky 5
though was
horrific.
Yeah.
They don't even include it in the marathon. Like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then they go right to Rocky Balboa. Like they don't even show fucking 5. It's done.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Smart. All right, guys. Well, this has been awesome. I'm anxiously looking forward to covering season 2. Allison, we're gonna have the links here in the description, but they can find you at My Weekly Meltdown. When do you normally drop?
Well, right now we're covering Big Brother All Stars, so we'd have shows on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and we cover Survivor, but it was announced this week that we may not have it for a while because of the pandemic.
I didn't hear that. What did they say this week?
I think we're not gonna have it till next year.
Yeah,
like it's gonna be
September 2021.
Yeah, it'll be, so we're gonna have to find something to fill our time with between now and then. But yes, please subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown.
So we lose a whole full year of Survivor then.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a rewatch, I think, of a season for fun, because we actually, before Big Brother 22 All Stars started, we were sitting here. Tyler Lyon sends his love, Wardog, by the way.
Tell Tyler I love him.
Slide into your DMs later. But we actually, Beth, who is a co-host on my show, she hasn't seen a lot of Big Brother, so we pulled out an old school legendary season of Big Brother 10, and we did a complete rewatch this summer of it to kind of fill the time. And crazy enough, Memphis is on this All Stars from that. But
you got a friend of mine.
Yeah, he grew up in Collierville, Tennessee, and I'm in Memphis. That's 20 minutes for me. So it's kind of, but I love Memphis, but it's just so funny. But right now, that's what we're doing. So
okay,
yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, check out My Weekly Meltdown currently on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I can be found at survivornsfw.com, and we're currently covering Big Brother Mondays and Thursdays, and then we just finished coverage of World's Toughest Race from Amazon Prime. It's a Mark Burnett production with Bear Grylls assuming the role of Jeff Probst. It was really amazing. Probably the best reality show I've seen this year, bar none. So check out World's Toughest Race on Amazon Prime.
I saw the first episode. I don't know why I didn't get back, because I really liked the first episode. It was
I think I cried 15 times in
what? The what?
Called World's Toughest Race. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's the Eco Challenge that Mark Burnett I guess originally covered before Survivor. It used to be on USA Network, but it was more of a competition show versus this is a really heart tugger reality show. It's so incredible. And so you can check out our coverage there on Survivor NSFW, and then starting October 14th, we'll be covering The Amazing Race, and hoping it's a good season. I think this one's been in the can for about 4 years, so we'll see. It probably hasn't seen the light of day, and you can also always become a Patreon on our side of things at adfree.nsfw.com, and Wardog, what do you have to promote?
Nothing.
No.
No, I got nothing to promote. Honestly, I have a secret to tell. Let me tell a secret.
Oh,
so during my season, obviously, I was not a hero, right, on my season, right? Okay, I was far from, right. And I noticed right away that, like, so during my season, I'm very also I like hearing about myself. So I used to spend about, no joke, 20 hours a week listening to podcasts. I would find out. That's how I found I'd find you. I found podcasts that had like 40 listeners all week, 40 viewers talking about Survivor. I found you. And when I realized that pretty much there was one common theme across all these podcasts, and they all shit on me, right? From like the first episode on, like it was literally like,
never shit on you, Wardog.
I'm not so, but Tyler did his first time.
He's really bad.
So what I did is I figured something out. It was really easy to do. It wouldn't work for like RHAP, right? But it would work for pretty much every other podcast, even Survivor Specialists. I did, and my weekly Meltdown. I'd reached out to a lot of these hosts, and I kept telling them how much I loved their show, and that I want to be on their show down the road. And I reached out to Tyler. After I reached out to him, Tyler did nothing but praise me every episode. And this, Allison praised me, and Deb on her show. No, but we had our own thing going on. But then like, and it worked with so many of these different podcasts, and I really had no intention to go on any of these podcasts, right? But they all flipped the script on me, right? But then I did end up getting to know Allison, Deb, and Tyler, and that's when and I also realized that I didn't want to do any podcasts. Like, I even told Fairplay I was going to do a Survivor one with him, and then we ended up doing a wrestling podcast, right? And we did, and then we had a draft where we on your network, right? But you weren't really part of it.
I wasn't part of it.
No, but it was on your network, right? So
yep.
And then I realized, and that's when I realized through Instagram that Allison was a big Cobra Kai fan.
I was using the hashtag on some stuff.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Oh, hash brown?
Yeah.
Hash brown Cobra Kai?
Hash brown Cobra Kai.
Kai.
And Alice, this was like in May when the show just came out and when my season was wrapping up. And then I was like, and then I remember like, because like Deb and Tyler and Alice were asking me like, when are you coming on our show? And I'm just like, I'm staying for the bar, and I did one with Survivor Specials. I did a long retrospective with them, and then I was just like, I did kind of feel bad because I actually liked all three of them. So I said, Allison, how about this? I said, why don't we do something with Cobra Kai? And
we kind of a year ago, yeah,
over a year ago, and then we're like, oh, well, let's do it right before season 3 comes out, and we expected it to come out April, right? And then the pandemic happens, and then we find out it's coming to Netflix. Like, oh, it's coming now, and then we find out it's not till 2021. But then we said, something? But it's going to Netflix, and it's so popular, it took off. Like,
now's the time. Yeah, instead of a podcast for 40 people.
Yeah, so that's what we would have done, right?
Yeah.
So that's essentially I don't really have nothing to promote for myself, but I thought it was a fun story to tell. That's why we put this thing together, and that's a little trick for anybody that ever goes on Survivor, and shit is not going your way in these podcasts. All you gotta do is reach out to them. It worked.
Except to me. It won't work for me.
I got it. It worked. You know why it worked? He talked about me every week. Every week he talked about me. Even if I wasn't, there was one episode.
There was nothing positive.
Yeah, but I was on like the merge episode was like the one episode where I was like completely invisible. I had no confessional, nothing. I was like completely invisible, and he's still went on about a 5 or 10 minute rant about no. That's not what I'm saying. Even like Fairplay about like how this is where it happened to Wardog and what's going on. Like, how we didn't get to see it. Like, I was on your mind. You
were very hateable. You were so hateable. I appreciate a villain. So you were very hateable. You were so good that I didn't like you. I mean, I think that's a huge compliment.
I'm always rooting for the bad guy. That's just how I am.
I typically am too, except the Wardog.
Yeah,
that's how good he is.
Until Santa Monica.
I actually had my son and I used to watch Survivor together when he was younger, and I was talking to him about doing this show, and I said, I'm going to be. Do you remember Jonny Fairplay from Survivor? And he sat there for a minute. He goes, dead grandmother guy. is that the dead grandmother guy? And I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. That was him. And I'm like, it's so funny that my son, that's how he remembered you. Like immediately.
I mean, it's an iconic line.
It's iconic.
Awesome. Well, guys, on that, let's we'll wrap up. You can find links for both of these on My Weekly Meltdowns YouTube and audio podcast, and also Survivor NSFW's YouTube and audio podcast. Links for both shows. Go and support both. Click that subscribe button. Click like, and tell your friends. Retweet, all that good jazz. Wardog, thank you. Allison, thank you.
And one more last thing. Rest in peace, Justice Ginsburg.
Yes.
She gave 87 years of her life, and she fought to the end. So rest in peace.
There we go.
All right, later.